be the Star Wars show?
Next week should be Star Wars, yeah.
Okay. Josh
But this
no, he should be able to make that one.
is he more of a Star Wars guy than he is a Marvel guy?
Man, not really. Most of his movie maturation has come at what I'm watching at the time, so I think it's been more so Marvel. We'll have to catch him up to speed on some of the Star Wars stuff.
Skip the Conqueror. Oh god.
Yeah. Skip
Somebody,
the Conqueror.
somebody watched Quantumania.
Welcome everyone to the Saturday live stream called 33 Burning Questions. Today's theme is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hope we all watched Quantumania because there will be spoilers. From the sounds of it, Skip and Tosh has watched this movie. That's when you speak, sir. He's muted. Marcus from the back of the bus is in the building. Welcome.
What up?
What have you been up to?
Saw Ant-Man last night. Got quite a few thoughts. This is first watch, so that's where most of my perspective is coming from. Other than that, working, waiting for the baby to get here.
That was the longest answer to what have you been up to I've ever heard.
He got it.
I tried not to smile because I saw it coming.
You weren't here, but earlier me and Jaden were talking about we're gonna get somebody with it. Well,
you laid it up. You laid it up.
No, but you went okay, and then so I saw the movie, and then working, and there's the baby. I'm like, yeah, now I can use it because I couldn't justify it if you only gave me a short answer. I saw the movie, right? K-Dot, what have you been up to?
K-Dot?
People
You know
with
me
K's
just
in their
hate.
names.
You know me just hating on the MCU like usual, living life.
You of all people bought into that bullshit.
Oh, did you see how crazy he was going for Mr. Ezra in his Flash trailer? Even though it was a very good trailer, I can't lie.
Beautiful.
It was a good trailer. Really good trailer.
Wait, who, me?
Yeah, I seen your short about.
Oh
the
yeah,
Flash.
man.
I was
Oh, yeah,
like,
man.
he going wild.
Hey man, free Ezra, free both the Ezras.
Get out of here. Go take a walk. The hell is wrong with you?
We gotta free both the Ezras now. There's two of them.
Nah, it's really conflicting, man, because that trailer looked really good, but I'm just not a fan of the guy.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I forgot those allegations happened.
What's wrong with you?
I didn't even care that the allegations happened.
I
Innocent till
said
proven
that. I
guilty.
literally said that when we were talking about them releasing the DC slate. I'm like, Gunn, we literally walked in the room with him and said, "Hey, come here, listen. They're gonna forget, so just be quiet. Let's release the trailer. If it hits, everybody will forget." And lo and behold, look at everybody loving this.
This what
Yeah,
I was
but-
saying. This what I was saying because it even happened when real quick, not derail, but
We're
when
derailed.
Will Smith when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, right?
Mhm.
Literally the day before, I think it was after, it was literally around the same time the grooming allegations came out. The
Mhm.
grooming allegations. And nobody was talking about it. But people talked about it for a day on Twitter. Next day, back to normal. But Will Smith still getting dragged. I'm like, this man got grooming allegations. I get it. Will Smith slapped somebody at the Oscars. I understand that. But grooming allegations?
Wasn't
over a
that
slap?
after
Come
he
on
already
now.
choke slammed the chick on video? Like, what
Yeah.
are we
No.
doing? What are we doing here?
We got Adnan in the building. He says, "Assalamu alaikum." Who knows the proper response to this, please? And not K-Dot. K-Dot, I know you know. Let's go to Dre Mac. He says,
What's
"Assalamu
going
alaikum."
on?
Hey, welcome to the Dre Mac show. Is on the channel for like the 5th time or something like that. It's 33 Burning Questions. It's about time we ask these questions. Yeah. First question: what is the best month to release a Marvel film? May. Jaden?
February.
February.
Yeah, I was gonna say February.
I would say November. Thanksgiving, holiday season.
Mhm. On that weekend of the Thursday, Friday off.
Yeah, that long weekend.
That might be the best answer, actually. Yeah.
I want to say the highest grossing film. It was February. I just thought about that. It was February. Isn't the highest grossing film? Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, I believe, came out. Was it February?
November.
I mean, not Wakanda Forever, but the original Black Panther, I believe, came out
November
All right,
11th.
November, yeah, November or February. So yeah,
It was February, and we're at the 5-year anniversary of it. I only know that
yeah,
because,
that's right.
yeah. K-Dot, what's the best month you want to see a Marvel film? Don't hit me with no, oh, DC that isn't doing a month, though. Well, they can have whatever. Don't hit me with that. I want a real answer, sir.
He's got to think of one.
Oh, he might be busy. He might be away.
Oh.
Question number 2 of 33 burning MCU questions. Do you know which TV show is next? Just from memory, okay? Who can name it? Who knows what it is?
Secret Wars?
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion, yep.
You don't get a point. It's just me and Marcus, baby. It's Secret Invasion. But they are doing too many. And we are hearing about how the studio is now pulling back and delaying things even further, which is a good decision because it's not like these new shows have been driving subscribers or conversation or even merchandise. I think that their plan at the beginning, going into Disney Plus, not knowing what it is, fine. I understand how you just wanted to throw content. I get that. So I'm not... Although, maybe some shows could have had second seasons and we could have got more Falcon and Bucky rather than getting, here's Moon Knight. He's got nothing to do with anything. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Yet?
Yet.
I thought you said yeah or yet. Okay.
No, I said yet. He has nothing to do with it just yet.
But I know that when he was announced at that big Disney Plus thing, separate from the Comic-Con in June of 2019, it was the Disney Plus day of like September of 2019. His show, the She-Hulk show, the Ms. Marvel show were introduced. And I believe that in the 3 months between that, it was like a little suggestion coming from the higher up saying, Marvel, do more. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll take this character and we'll take that character because it really hasn't. WandaVision, the way that that's mixing, and it did with Doctor Strange, good. The way that Falcon Winter Soldier, I expect to mix into the new Falcon movie, okay. But like when you look at the other shows, Moon Knight, you said yet. There's nothing. They weren't in the gods.
Yeah, there's nothing planned in the schedule that kind of incorporates them. I mean, maybe 3-4 years from now, but if that's the case,
I don't give you credit for 3-4 years from now. I'm just gonna look at it as you guys didn't plan it. They could have been in Thor: Love and Thunder, the Tiamat and all the other quote unquote gods. They could have been featured there in the perfect opportunity, and they weren't because things were not linked.
Well, you got two situations. You got one, you got Bob Chapek, right? Mm-hmm. And Bob Chapek was trying to push out material like Master P. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring out something every 2 weeks. Let's get these people excited. And what you have right now is superhero fatigue. You have Marvel fatigue from a lot of people because you like, man, Bob Chapek was trying to push everything out that he could. So you got that element, right? So that's why Bob Chapek is out. Bob Iger is back. Bob Iger said, hey, let's pull everything back. Let's pull all this stuff back. Let's go ahead and push this stuff out slowly because one reason why I say yep for Moon Knight, not necessarily the God element. There's other like they literally shows you how to bring people back from the dead, which could tie into to Thor: Love and Thunder because hey, you see all these people in Valhalla. If people was coming back from Valhalla, people was coming back in Moon Knight. I know a certain type of somebody could come back from, So I'm just saying they gave you a door so you could be able to do that.
They incorporated elements that other projects could use, so it's kind of like a safety net.
Thank you. And then like
a certain feline project.
So you can be able to use that product. Maybe it is 3 or 4 years from now, but you can be able to do that later on. So that's what I'm saying. Don't poo-poo it just yet.
Wow, Marcus, I didn't know you were a Shuri fan.
And then it says March is the best month. April is the best month. Yeah, Endgame did come at the end of April. You're right. The last week of April was Infinity War and Endgame.
Yep.
Quantumania turned me into the MCU hater. Seeing Kang get defeated by Saturday morning cartoon hijinks.
Ma'am, are we going there this early? Because
we not. Yeah, I'll.
Hey, that's why I'm keeping quiet because
it's a little early for that. But Lord Jesus Christ, come on, man! After that performance,
and who said he's defeated?
No, he's not. He's not. I don't think
nowhere close.
I would hope so. The movie would be better if he's not defeated.
He's not.
Multi-topic talk in the building. Hello there. Yep, I'm happy they delayed Ironheart. I need the CG to be crisp. That's probably not why they delayed it. It's just kind of to milk it, and they probably realized that the abundance of MCU shows where they, dedicate $125 million on each, it's just not worth it. It's not translating to new subscribers and whatnot. They have reached their peak, which they didn't know about. Again, they didn't know when they first started how many people would would peak at, and then when they would get to the point where they lose subscribers. Netflix, they never lost subscribers until just last year. That was the first year where they actually had a decrease in subscribers. So they've reached their peak because there's only a finite amount of people in the world who are going to subscribe. So they learned that. Now with this knowledge, we have to operate accordingly. And yeah, basically them delaying all these shows is stopping all these shows. And if they can be delayed, it kind of proves to me that they never had any integral like crossing points because they're being delayed. You don't got to see this TV show to understand what's happening in the next movie that was supposed to be out. There's a certainly an oversaturation of content with Marvel. It used to not be a problem, but it is now.
So I wanted to talk about that because I had a different perspective on the whole Marvel fatigue thing, because while I do think the increase of product that they're putting out plays a role in how everything is received, I don't want to take the pressure off the creatives, right? Because if this stuff was popping, I don't think you would hear as much conversation about people being tired of watching it. When stuff is good, people will watch it until, they'll run it into the ground. I don't want to take too much focus off of what they're actually producing, because just chalking it up to Marvel fatigue, to me, lets Kevin Feige and Nate and all those guys over all the creatives at Marvel off the hook and saying, well, we don't really have to adjust our storytelling that much. It's just we're putting out too much of it. We can continue to tell the stories the way that we are now. We just have to trickle it in, which makes me worry for a project like Ironheart, like Agatha, like, all of those projects that we were supposed to be getting, coming into phase 5, even something like Daredevil. Because now if we're not going to adjust tone, if we're not going to adjust, how we're delivering these products, then, slow dripping it is only going to help you a little bit financially in the short run. I don't know if it does much for their brand now, because they're that sort of Marvel shield, that idea that anything that the MC puts out is going to be golden, it's being chipped at, right? It is not what it was back in 2011, even, 2018. Right. So I don't think that they can lean on the fact that, all right, we'll just pull back production. That's going to help them in the short term. That's going to help them with some of that 120 billion they lost last year. That's not necessarily going to help the audience reception.
I would even say too that also, and shout out to you, Marcus. And I watched the podcast about Ridley. That amazing, good journalism right there. Very good journalism right there. I will also say, to piggyback a little bit off what you're saying, is that if you're constantly pushing out content that have no connective tissue, you're going to lose your audience.
Yes.
And with Chapek, because I remember when they came out and said, we're going to have all these shows for phase 4. I remember that. Mm-hmm. And at the time, because Disney Plus was coming, remember, Disney Plus wasn't at where we through that pandemic too. We have to factor that in. And people was like, well, this is the new way of doing things.
Yeah.
And we come to find out, no, it's really not. Yeah. And then you still have to spread out your content amongst these other streaming platforms. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that is just when you're constantly putting out stuff. When you have a Disney brand, you have a plethora of things that people are going to watch. Not just all this new crap that you're just not saying it's crap, but you're just pushing out, and it's still not connected. And one thing we knew about the MCU that was different from DC, besides animation, is everything was connected. And when you start having all this stuff that was branching, like these timelines that we're talking about, you're like, what the hell? And we're really just now getting back to things starting to make a lot of sense when it's connecting with Ant-Man and Quantumania and other stuff is probably going to start. Okay, that's where it start connected. So I get what you're saying with the creative. You got to make great stuff. She-Hulk was a prime example of, good God, what the, you know what I mean? What are you doing? But then I see the wheels starting to get back on track. So I'm optimistic is all I'm saying on that.
No, for sure.
They need to focus on quality narrative storytelling again. I look at the Last of Us show, and I feel that Marvel needs better writers and producers, mostly for its Disney Plus shows. Question number 3: which Rhodey?
Disney never had like an HBO quality writers for shows ever.
Not yet. Not for the TV shows. I think WandaVision is probably the closest thing you can get to it. But that might just be because it was the first one. I really have trouble assessing.
I mean, it like WandaVision ain't touching on like The Wire.
Nah.
Oh no,
not even The Wire.
Oh no,
The Wire. WandaVision ain't even close to.
The thing about the oversaturation though is that it used to be because there was such there wasn't as much product. You wanted to see all of it, but now because there's so much. I can be selective. I can go, yeah, you know what? I don't really care about Moon Knight, so there's no reason to watch it because there's no connection to it. The only reason I watched Hawkeye was because apparently she's supposed to be the next Hawkeye. But you can literally pick and choose now because it's like, yeah, I'll just watch the movies. I don't need to watch TV shows or, vice versa.
Darth Uchiha, Fireball Jutsu. People also act like Marvel has ever been just great at storytelling. Storytelling was always come second place to spectacle for Marvel, even in Phase 1 and Phase 3.
Not so much in Phase 1. I wouldn't say
Phase 1. The origin stories were pretty good stories, I thought.
Well, they had followed the comics. They had a committee of comic book people who told you.
But see, that's it though, and that seems to be the one thing that they don't want to do is stay lock and key towards the canon.
So then why do the comic books want to copy the movies? Why am I fearful that Eve Ewing's Black Panther is not going to be about T'Challa and they're going to say it's about the mantle? It's about someone else in Wakanda who's the Black Panther. Why?
Because a lot of people's first time knowledge or introduction to the character is from the movie.
And that's the
Not
problem.
That's the problem.
That's really literally the problem.
Sorry, Chill. If a person's first knowledge of Black Panther is from the Black Panther movie and they've never read a Black Panther comic book, if they read the Black Panther comic book as it is, they're going to be going, I don't know, I'm lost.
Who are these people, though? Who are these new movie customers who are flocking into the comics?
They might buy merch. They'll buy the toys. They'll buy the shirts. They'll buy the Funkos. But are they buying the books?
They're not. But the mentality of the writers that's who the audience is supposed to be.
Okay, the mentality is broken.
And Kevin Feige runs all of Marvel. He runs Marvel Comics also. He has a hand in that. He might not run it like the everyday editor or whatever, but he does have creative selection when it comes to the stories in the comics that he could be able to pull from or give suggestion to.
One example is that the Eve Ewing comic called Monica Rambeau Photon had her name changed due to the movie stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she said that too. See, that's what makes I'm optimistic about her because she's very bold. Like I felt like she was saying some stuff in that interview that maybe they wouldn't have liked her to say. And I've been enjoying the Monica Rambeau comic, definitely. She fibbed to us, by the way. I didn't see anything in there about Blue Marvel in issue 3.
She probably meant the issue 4. I don't blame her. Maybe issue 4 they'll actually have an explanation. Yo, Trinity, jump in when you're ready. Kennedy says that people act like Marvel has ever. Oh, we read this one. Moon Girl's cartoon has been better than all of MCU Phase 4, and this is coming from someone who actually likes most of the phase. Wow.
My son made me put that on for him this morning. They premiered on the regular Disney channel. And
Moon Girl is dope.
Shiny Head Fred returns next week.
Shiny Head Fred.
Marcus Shiny
maybe
Head
Fred. I was about to say maybe he's kin to Drop Dead Fred. I don't know.
I'm not saying storytelling isn't present or even bad, but always comes to the second to the spectacle. Fine, we can all agree on that one. It comes second to the spectacle. The comics' priority is often storytelling, then spectacle.
No.
We're not doing that. You can't derail us twice, Kenny. You can't do that again to us. I'm asking the Fast and Furious, would they be more akin to Terrence Howard or Don Cheadle? Who would fit in that franchise better? And why is the answer Terrence Howard?
Come on, man. You already know, man, where it is, man. We're going to ride in our car, man. You already know, man. I'm going to go holler at DJ. You know what I mean? You already know what it is, man. Stop playing, man.
So DJ from Hustle and Flow is going to be in Fast and Furious.
It's hard out here for family.
Why you so slow, man?
I feel like Howard is the better actor, right? But Don Cheadle blends better with the corniness of Fast and Furious at this point. Like, I just feel like he fits. They got everybody. They got Momoa. They got Brie Larson. They got Jason Statham. like, you know,
if we
Don
talking
Cheadle,
like
he
the
goes
first
with it.
3 Fast movies, Terrence would fit, but now the new ones,
Yeah,
Don
there you
Cheadle.
go.
Oh,
If
yeah.
they were
That's what I
still
was
racing,
Definitely.
if they were still having drag races, you know,
Yeah.
maybe.
because the franchise has gone off the rails and there's no actual attempt at taking it seriously. Obviously, use Don Cheadle because Terrence Howard would be wasted.
Thank you.
Perp Minded says, whoop that trick. Mhm.
Get him.
Shout out to Perp Minded. Every year he does an annual show, and he gave me Channel of the Year back in 2022.
Oh my
That's
god.
what's up.
What? I wasn't even going to say anything.
He's
Can
only
you get-
saying that because I'm sitting here.
No, I'm saying that because the 2021 winner was K-Dot. Stop being so in your head. Come on.
He's petty, y'all.
Number 4. Can you kids what? Wait, what am I
Can
writing?
you get kids from quantum
Entanglement.
I mean, yeah, because I wonder where Janet other kids at, because I know her and Kane was doing some stuff. That was
Not just
30
First of
years.
all,
Kang,
yeah.
the other
How
one
the
too.
hell? So you were
Yo.
stuck there for 30 years,
She has
and you
needs.
worked with Kang every day. How the hell did Bill Murray end up getting the skins
Thank you.
before trying to
And
get
not Kane. That's crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, cause that warrior chick, boy, a good 30, boy. I'm
I'm
not
like,
Wait,
what?
Janet was born during a specific time. She wasn't born at a certain time. You know, she's probably like, she probably didn't like the brothers.
I don't know.
Oh,
There's no
man.
proof that Kang and Janet didn't interact. They never said so or not. They just
I mean,
confirmed one
if
relationship.
you're together for that long, I mean, even if y'all really don't like each other, y'all just gonna do it.
30 years?
Like
30
yeah, like
years.
remember in
Yeah,
the
wait a
Walking
minute. You
Dead?
know, she did have other options. It's not like that was the only. It's not like they were stranded on a desert island and there were the only 2 people there.
Well, she
Well,
had the
She was gonna
tentacle
be with
son.
Bill Murray or drink the glue, drink the slop.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, her
I'm
options
just
was
saying.
Blob, that other person who stabbed. I mean, her options was limited.
The dude with the laser in his face. So, I mean,
I liked him. I don't know what his name was, but he was dope for a while.
he was
Hey,
kind
you
of
know,
dope. I ain't gonna lie.
Hank was getting some cheeks too. I don't blame him. It's 30 years.
He said her name was Laura. We had to
She
go
wasn't
with
you,
her.
honey.
She wasn't you, honey. That was the realest conversation of the whole movie. Not to go.
That
into
was the most
spoilers.
unnecessary conversation.
Love
No. Sometimes you gotta have when that stuff comes up. We talking about it now. We ain't wait till we get home because we might be in here for another 30. Let's talk about
He like him?
right. Thank you.
Like,
I'm
Talk about a
sorry.
waste
I
of
have
$115
I
million.
had needs. I had needs. It's like, yeah, so what? I've been with you for 3 weeks. I still have needs. Doesn't matter that it's 30 years.
Question number 6. What is the worst thing you can say about Monica Rambeau? Now, this is the movie version. So we saw her as a kid in Captain.
Her making excuses for Wanda's evil.
yeah, that was a terrible scene. That was awful.
That's probably the worst line she delivered, but everything else, I'm fine with her.
I won't say it's the worst line. You could just tell she was really trying to be. She's like me. She's trying to be optimistic on everything and trying to save people. And I think that may be a character flaw that they can explore in, the Marvels. That person who tries to save everybody and gets a hint of reality. Matter of fact, The Last of Us just did that in episode 5 and then get that shocking reality. You can't save everybody no matter how hard you try.
So do you think that was
Well,
like seeds for the narrative? Because I always kind of felt like that was a miss in the writing. I felt like that was coming from a perspective of someone who doesn't really see the wrongs in their own actions. That's where I got, because it never got accounted for.
I think it was just a writer trying to self-insert something.
That's what it felt like.
But I'll say this. I have no issue with her being optimistic. Even Superman's optimistic, but Superman's not going to say, well, Lex, I mean, you killed a lot of people, but I understand your pain, Lex. Like, he's optimistic, but he's not completely...
He's not justifying it for the person.
Yeah,
He said they would never know what you sacrificed for them.
Right. Because I'm like,
Whoa.
what you talking about?
You got the script right in front of you? How did you remember that line?
Wanda was out here playing Sims with everybody. She made everybody play Sims.
I'm sorry, that was awesome though.
Kenny says, yeah, I think I had an iffy observation there. Not sure how I feel about what I was saying now. I'm echoing. Not sure I... Yeah, I'm still echoing.
I don't hear
You don't hear
guys.
an echo? Is it just me?
Yeah, you are echoing. Let me mute.
I have nothing bad to say about her. Yeah, now the echoing stopped.
There's nothing.
Tony says Monica. Tony.
Agreed, Tony.
Yeah, I do agree. I very much agree.
7. What are the 7 holes? Serious question.
Hold on. Yeah. Are we talking male or female? Are we talking male or female?
We're talking
Even
male.
if you're talking male,
That's only 2 from what I know.
It's 7 too. It's
I know. I was just trying to be opinionated.
1,
3,
2,
4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, he's referring to okay.
These sockets are filled. If these are holes, then why isn't my navel a hole also? I don't understand that one.
4,
ears.
5, 6, 7.
I mean, not to get never mind. I'm not. Never mind.
I'm just saying that the nostrils, do they count as 1 hole or 2
No,
holes?
they count as 2.
They're 2.
Now, down south in front,
that's
we
a hole.
That's a hole.
There's the sticky stuff and there's the yellow stuff.
2 holes.
And just like the nostril, there's something dividing access to each compartment. And I'm saying that should count as 2 if you're using the logic of this. And then I also don't understand the eyes. This is...
I think they were trying to substitute the eyes for the other
holes.
The brown eye and the one eye Willie.
I'll say this one thing about the movie. The Blob was at least the funniest thing about it. The Blob.
You have no
The Blob was funny.
holes.
Man,
I have holes.
They came out of nowhere.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious how many people in the audience, when they said 7 holes, how many people in the audience went, okay, hold on.
We were all spotlighting in that moment, just like
they were all doing. Yeah, it's like, hold on, let me do the math.
I was wondering, like, what is he talking about? What holes? I only know 2 holes.
I work at the world's raunchiest place, so I already knew exactly what he was talking about.
First of all, K-Dot, the minimum should have been at least 3 holes.
There's things we never think of, you know. There's just things we know secondhand, and naming
Well,
how many
referring
holes.
to the other sex, but I was looking from a guy's perspective in that moment.
Yeah, 3 holes.
K-Dot, like, what?
3. I don't count.
Technically.
Anyway, next question. Let's segue.
8. What would Captain Marvel use first against a human opponent? Is she going straight for the photon blast? Was she fighting someone she's gonna have mercy and maybe just use her left hand on you? What does she do?
What did she do against the biker?
She stole his clothes. She went full Terminator.
She didn't actually hit her or anything, did she? Like she didn't.
She shook his
No,
hand.
he tried to break her hand. Yeah,
There you go.
Then stole his clothes. She's a thief.
Yeah, so she would obviously recognize that it's a human and would, not use her full extent of her powers.
You know what? But she wasn't a villain though. She might go harder for an actual villain who's trying to flag smashers. What would she do for them? You think she's just gonna say, "Come here"? You think she's doing that for the flag smashers? No, she's punching.
Well, she's punching, but she wouldn't punch. She wouldn't punch a human like she punched Thanos. I'm saying it's like she'll
a little bit off.
She'll hold her punches back, definitely. Like she doesn't. I just don't see her being, because she punches she punches somebody in the face. Her fist is gonna go through the face, right?
She knows jujitsu. We know that when she was training with Jan Rug.
Yeah. And she's gonna give him a mean face first. She's what are you doing? That's the first thing she's doing.
Want to fight?
Ricardo says has energy blast on stun mode. This is not Star Wars.
Well, first thing, what I would say is that her all-female Avenger team is going to show up without her asking, and then not be useful when she has to deal with this human opponent. They're all gonna gang up. You know, girls like to group up and gang up on a guy or whatever. She's gonna do that with her homies. It happened in Endgame. I'm just saying. It was true. They tried to gang up on Thanos, and look what happened.
There were some weak links in that group.
In that equation.
In that group, though.
They haven't been building up to an all-female movie. I remember that was the saying during that movie, and in Endgame when all of them teamed up, you're like, this would be cool. And since then, nothing's really built to it. I don't see relationships forming between like Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Mantis, and Gamora and Nebula.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they
because it's
do
women.
it.
They're all talk, no action. Give me a break. Come
You're an idiot.
I mean, at
on.
this
Yeah, but I'm
point-
right. That's the problem.
Chill. At this point in the MCU, I wouldn't even be shocked if they do it because it was rumored that it could happen.
The
Yes.
A-Force,
That was a
Big Eyes,
seed
what you're talking
to
about?
set it up. That was a seed right there to set it up and see what people think.
I think that they were leaning more towards young Avengers, and that's probably how they were going to bring in a lot of the female characters, your Shuri, Kate Bishop, Yelena, but then none of those, or Miss Marvel, I'm sorry, not Yelena's going to be in the Thunderbolts. But when those shows didn't pop the way that they expected them to, and now we're a little bit tight of the pocket, all right, well, let's put that on the back burner for a year.
Because how many billion did they lose?
120.
120. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these projects they about to go back to being male centric, but we're gonna slide the women.
But
Oh,
the
you mean like
thing is that it's
proper
not,
versions?
it's not incumbent on them to go back to the standard, attendance of white characters or white mainstays or male characters even. It's not incumbent on them to do that. Just make it good.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
make the fact that this is a female-driven show be more important than actually telling the character story, showing a coherent arc. If they cared more about making us like Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk, the
Oh my
show would have
God,
been
no.
better.
You know
But
what?
they were
Don't let
focused
diversity be
on-
the enemy
Yeah.
of what you're trying to do. Eternals would have been better off if they had 6 Eternals rather than going, we're
Then
going to
like
India, we're going to
12?
Australia. You know?
Yeah, man.
and then they killed all the good ones anyways.
But I was like, at least with the internals, they really did pull a lot from that source material from that second run, not the original Eternals run, the newer run from all different Marvel. So I can at least say that
From Kieran Gillen's.
I think it's Karen Gillan's run.
See, okay, so that's where I picked up Eternals, right? And so I was looking for certain character depictions. Like I was looking for Cersei to be more of a calculated leader. She's a very cold pragmatist in Karen Gillan's run. Then Thena is a beast. Like she's the best warrior of them all. And she doesn't really show that emotion that she was given to what's the guy? The deviant that she killed.
I know who you talking about.
King of the Deviants. Chronos, something like that.
Yeah.
Chronos. Crow. That's his name.
Yeah,
It's Crow. But first of all, she killed him. Why would you do that? Why would you do that in this movie? He didn't even evolve into what he's supposed to be. Why would you? It was just she was overly emotional. Cersei was like the damsel most of the movie. Fastos, don't get me started on Fastos. I just feel like it wasn't maybe the story. The story was very like because the way they used the machine, I thought that was cool. And then Harisham and the Celestials and stuff like that. That was all from this most recent one, from what I can see. It was the character depictions that were off for me.
You two care more about the Eternals movie than people who work at Marvel. They've already given up on it. Who is the Patrick Mahomes of Marvel?
My guy.
Of Marvel character-wise or writer?
Marvel.
The characters in the MCU.
Who's the Patrick Mahomes?
Who won twice? Who's young?
I would say it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's Spider-Man off tops.
Yep. Because it can't be Tony Stark. Tony Stark is Brady. But then you gotta have somebody. You gotta have a new kid on the block that looks like he's about to take over. That's probably Spider-Man.
Tony's the quarterback. Tony's the chief.
Oh, he's the quarterback.
That's why he could be Brady.
We need a plan of attack. Yeah, my plan of attack. I think Captain America is the quarterback of the team.
Who's more Brady? Is it Tony or Cap?
Okay.
Brady.
I could see Cap.
No, Brady is more Tony Stark because you can give that persona that he does like in front of the mainstream cameras. When they go back and watch that interview when they was in the barbershop with LeBron, that motherfucker was Tony Stark. Seriously. He is kind of a dick, but he can be though. He can be.
Comic Boom, in the NFL, there's a popular player who's won 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
I don't know who Patrick Mahomes is. That's a troll.
He's Canadian.
Hey, I don't know who Patrick Mahomes is because I don't follow football.
We got the CFL, buddy. Okay, our balls are bigger.
I follow.
Stop
like,
it.
you know.
Neither one of you jaded. You don't know who Patrick Mahomes is. You don't have ESPN?
No, I don't even have.
We
cable.
don't.
Everything I watch online.
ESPN is not a channel here. We have TSN, and it's a sub.
TSN.
No,
I know what TSN is, though.
it exists.
You
See?
can get ESPN, but I just don't watch sports that much.
Ajax was hiding the Dragon Balls in her shirts.
Boy.
Patrick is the
That's
next.
not Hayek, though.
There you go, grape juice.
Kang is the Patrick Mahomes. Is he a villain, though?
No, Patrick Mahomes is he's too nice.
Squeaky clean.
He's very much the Spider-Man, the new kid on the block. You know what I mean? The new hero.
But not that new.
That'll change, though.
But remember,
a couple more.
But remember when Spider-Man became the face of Marvel and he was on every single comic. If you go buy a comic book direct, he was on his
that the head symbol.
Yeah. So
Doctor Strange waits till the second half to do something.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, Steve, I like that one. I'm American. I don't know who it is. Oh, you're not an NFL guy, Trin. Doctor Strange because he's the most powerful and the most nerfed.
Man, maybe Patrick.
Well, not since Kang. Not since Kang. Kang is the most nerfed now.
And the 10th question of 33 Burning MCU Questions: what happened after WandaVision in Westview? Do you think Monica went back? Oh, you guys are just victims of circumstance. I'll take care of you. Or was she like, I'm at sword. I got powers.
She went to space. She was out. She was out at the end.
Wanda never revisited them. That 70s show mother, 90s show mother, she's just alone. She's not receiving any government. Like we saw how they treated Ohio, right? So Westview is in New Jersey. Same thing. Same sort of.
Well, technically, at that point, Wanda was no longer a government agent.
Mm-hmm.
This was a week or 2 weeks after Endgame. She was no longer a government agent. She then became a criminal. Will those people even get benefits from the government?
They filed a lawsuit.
At that point?
Not this government.
They filed a lawsuit. That's what happened after.
For sure.
Class action lawsuit.
Class action lawsuit.
I just got a message saying that the wind from East Palestine, Ohio, has reached my neck of the woods. Like it went northeast. So, be careful. Don't breathe the air outdoors. And it was raining, and there was a little bit of film of like a soapy water on puddles, and it had to do with the chemicals and stuff. I mean, this is all Instagram stuff. I cannot independently confirm.
There was another one that went down in Detroit too. Another train that flipped in Detroit. Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
With the same material.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was, but there was an explosion.
Crazy. I was not being covered either.
Oh yeah, I probably would have heard it.
I had to find out from somebody on TikTok to broke it all down.
Stay woke, everybody. The things that are going to be reported on the news are to the pleasing of the people who pay the news channel. So when you go on to commercials and you see all these like pharmaceutical companies advertising their stuff, don't expect proper coverage on the drug industry. Likewise, if they're gas and all the stuff, just beware. I'm trying to say, Chipotle moved in and gentrified the entire town of Westview. Yeah, let's go with that. Sure. True or false?
Seems like the town that would eat that nasty Chipotle stuff.
K-Dot, Sony's involvement makes Spider-Man movies better.
Well, I mean, Sony has the best Spider-Man movies anyways, but I think this Spider-Man, specifically Tom Holland Spider-Man, suffers because both people, MCU and Sony, want to put their hands in on it. And it can't really, like, MCU can't do what they want with Spider-Man because Sony don't want to share all the characters and rights. So I say false because Spider-Man hurts the most from it. Because nobody can do whatever they want with it. So I'm gonna say false. If they was doing it by themselves and no MCU, true.
Jaded fanboy, true or false? Sony's involvement makes the Spider-Man movies worse or better.
Doesn't make them worse, but I don't know if it makes them better. It's just a different. they just want to incorporate certain aspects, like again incorporating Venom, and then what are we going to be doing with Venom? And it's like, well, then what was the point? I don't.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. So it's like, did you even really need to get involved, Sony? Well, no, not really. Wanting to protect their character depiction of Spider-Man in case they ever wanted to use it. I think they were more playing it safe than actually being involved, just to go, we want these rules just in case, but we may never actually implement them anyway, so don't worry about it.
Skitty says it's false. Jared says it's false. Does Marcus say this is false? That Sony's involvement makes Spider-Man better?
3 years ago, I would have said it's false. Seeing as how Spider-Man No Way Home has been better than every single film made in the last 3 years.
Oh my God.
I have to say it's true.
It's
I'm
true
a
now.
results guy.
Because I count that as
results guy.
I count that as a Sony movie at that point.
The last 3 Spider-Man movies have been successful, yes?
Yeah.
Last 3 have been a partnership between MCU and Sony. Now we get into this later phase of MCU movies. They are faltering. The Spider-Man movies are not.
Damn. Yeah. So then,
and even though, like
it's
I said,
true.
I have my issue with No Way Home, but that is
And in terms of them not letting their characters go over to the MCU, that's literally their only leverage, right? They have to keep those characters sacred because, I mean, do you honestly believe, and I've actually gotten more confidence in his acting ability, but M.O.D.O.F.K is going to carry them to another level as a studio, or Madam Web, or any of those characters. They can't,
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, they can't do the thing themselves, but they can hang, a Venom or Carnage or something that the MCU does want and dangle it in front of the MCU for money.
I think if that Madam Web movie actually introduces whatever Spider-Man they're supposed to introduce, maybe this universe could have it could go somewhere, because you need Spider-Man at the center of whatever they're doing.
And you need the main character of a franchise for it to work?
Yeah.
That's the thing. They have to use Spider-Man, but they also want to build up some of that roster that they have around him. And the only way they can do that sufficiently, is to lease that out to the MCU.
Everyone's saying that it's false. Draymac, you going to join them?
It's true. It's true. And I'm going to tell you why it's true is because just dangling what you were talking about, dangling the carrot, right? So we all know that we were kind of upset because we didn't really get Venom because they teased him in No Way Home, but didn't use him. They just left that sprinkle of symbiote in the MCU for to be able to use in the future.
If they decide.
And since I have Secret Wars 1985, or is it 1984? You know what I mean? Him getting the black suit in Secret Wars, even though they didn't do it in the second Secret Wars, because I have both of them, just to have that is going to be an iconic moment. You know what I mean? Not only the MCU, but for Spider-Man. If it wasn't for Sony, we won't get that. So I do got to say, their involvement may not be that much or however, but their involvement has made it a little bit better.
I would have agreed with that, except in the movie, Venom says he already knew Spider-Man.
Yeah, because the high.
So unfortunately, you're not going to get. So if Venom already knows who Spider-Man is, that bonding thing that was in the comics isn't going to happen in the movie. It just can't.
Well, remember, the original suit was really just to be drawn. You know what I mean? For a new suit, and then. When Tom McFarlane and I can't think of who the writer, when they came, it was like, yo, let's make it a symbiote.
Make it an alien.
You know what I'm saying? Make an alien and stuff like that, because he can still do the whole suit thing because he knows Spider-Man. That's why he's drawn to Spider-Man, unless they do Deadpool Secret Wars and he goes to Deadpool first. and then goes to Peter Parker. But yeah, you can still do the whole entire thing. He knows him. He starts to get a little evil and stuff. You can do it and do it right. Not Spider-Man 3, but do it right. So I'm, again, optimistic.
Number 12. I make too many recast T'Challa videos. False.
You don't make enough.
No, it's true, man. I'm sick of it, man. I'm tired. I'm tired of all the recast T'Challa. I'm tired.
Am I right?
Oh, you don't make enough. You need to make more.
All right. This is for the live chat too, especially the live chat who watch. All 18 of you who are here live, thank you and thumbs up.
I mean,
So
look, Joe. I'll say this. Sometimes there is a repetition of what we say when it comes to recast Jala, but it is a repetition of logic because it's honestly worth it. Like to repeat logic over and over, it is kind of worth it. Yeah, it's the same thing. You know, it's like saying, well, 2 + 2 is 4. Everyone knows 2 + 2 is 4.
People
But
come at you
Utopia,
with
2
the same
+ 2 is 4,
stuff.
'cause some people think 2 + 2 is 5.
Yeah. They come
I
at
can
you
still
with
hear
the
a
same
little bit of
stuff.
static, Marcus, but it's not like before. We're good. It was never even that distracting anyways. It's just like it took me a while to notice. Some people do too much recast. You guys follow Buckmeister Call on YouTube. He's always on Twitter. He's always tweeting recast stuff. You guys follow. So I can see that as being too much if you want to say. But with me, I pick my spots, and it is logical. And at least it's not for the same talking. You know, I'll attack from different angles. So no, this is false. I do not do it. It is a very important topic. If we're talking about representation, then why not use the best guy for representation? There's no other character with this much amount of reach and actually like eyeballs on it. So I mean, don't tell me about representation is important and then not bring him up. This is false.
Also, just in terms
false.
of the character.
This is false. Never too much. False. Make more. We need more. More.
People talk about Superman all the time. They talk about Batman on the internet all the time. Talk about Spider-Man. Why is T'Challa any different? It's just it's a superhero that people like. Obviously, we all like him. We're in agreement. He has a big fan base. People are going to talk about him. I don't understand why that would offend so many folks.
Is this true or false? Agent Coulson is actually the son of Cole, as Thor would say.
Coleson.
Wait. No. But
that is when
that
happened in
you
Agents of
spelled his
S.H.I.E.L.D.
last name wrong.
When Civ was calling him son of Cole.
Oh.
That's when I knew it was over. That's when I knew Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was just done. It was never coming back. It was never going to be anything good again. For sure. It was just that was bad. That's bad.
You gonna answer this question?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
No.
Coleson.
Cole Coulson does
Because
sound
apparently, according to Tony Stark, his first name is Agent.
Agent.
Yeah. It's actually Coulson. It is actually Coulson. You're right. I get it, guys.
But you couldn't have had the joke. It was still funny.
You know, hit the like button. Thank you, Rocky.
I mean, yeah, you still could have done the same joke with the right spelling.
True or false? Kingpin is evil. True.
False.
Why is there doubts?
Because somebody just said the word false.
You said false?
Yes. Okay. All right. Because Kingpin looks at himself as the necessary evil required to combat evil, but even then,
So does the Green Goblin.
Necessary what? He's a necessary what?
That necessary evil.
Okay,
But
so then he knows he's evil.
But no. Well, let me say this, and this is why I say true. Still, regardless, you're fighting fire with fire, which doesn't even make it much better. Sure, it might temporarily stop something, but you're fighting fire with fire, and it's going to keep.
Okay, Monica Rambeau. Okay, Monica. Sure.
But
you were just chastising Monica Rambeau, and now you're.
I agree that he's evil. I'm just saying I understand why Kingpin has the mindset he has, but regardless, his plan in the long run is not going to work.
But is evil subjective? Is evil subjective based on ideology?
Sure, and we all ideologically agree that he's evil.
But there are also objective evils as well. There are objective moral wrongs.
And look, if I do need to stop him, I'll just get Kate Bishop to beat him up.
Nah.
Okay.
We got true, he's evil. True, he's evil. True. Not so much evil as weakened by love.
Because love will make you do some crazy things.
I tell that to Castle. Tell that to Frank
the
Castle.
last event they just had for Daredevil.
Devil's Reign?
Yes, Dark Reign, where he had the chick he was in love with. He was trying to escape with her the whole time. Matt Murdock's trying to murder him.
What was his girlfriend?
Who's really evil?
I forgot her name.
I can't. The curly head chick. I can't
Started
remember
with
her
like a J.
name. Yeah.
Look,
Oh,
this is
Vanessa.
you-
No, Vanessa.
It's true, guys. His mortality was sacrificed for the sake of power. That power was taken by his love for Vanessa. I don't care.
Vanessa, that's her name. Vanessa.
Mhm.
I really don't care. I bet he also told the store keep the change a couple times too. That doesn't make him not evil anymore. True or false? The Quantumania red carpet generated hype.
There was a red carpet.
Jonathan
Yeah, it
Majors
was.
generated. You know, I'll say this:
Jonathan.
Jonathan Majors
Thank you.
false because Jonathan Majors promoted this movie better than everybody else. When he was at the D20 whatever that Marvel thing, the
Yeah.
showcase thing, he was hyping up the crowd saying Kang, like
That joint they
he
had in Brazil.
himself was like he knew how to market, and you know, and all them pictures they dropped when they dropped that picture of Kang sitting
Oh,
in that
yeah.
throne, I was like, bruh. Jonathan ain't playing around. He did that post specifically on purpose. He was like,
Oh yeah.
very calculated,
Mm.
very much calculated.
I think that this is false. The hype wasn't really created. No red carpet has done it for me. None.
No.
They're just symbolic, but they're not really hype generators.
I don't even watch those red carpets.
True or
like
false?
that.
It should be M.O.D.O.F.K. True. It should be.
It should. It's true. It
Nobody
should
wants
be.
to say M.O.D.O.F.K.
I just
The
I
off.
look at what does the O stand for? The second O. It's a mechanism
mechanism, organized, design.
Organism.
only for
Right.
healing.
But the what are those
Organism,
words? The
yeah.
conjunctions. You don't usually put those in acronyms, anyways. You usually
True.
leave those out.
For is a word that we can't use. FOR is a word that it's ruled out. But
If you're going to
only,
do it in an
Yeah.
acronym, it's implied.
Yeah.
it should be M.O.D.O.F.K. True. I'm just saying, it's not like we put like 5 consonants in a row. Like the vowel that is there still allows for this to roll. M.O.D.O.F.K. We can do it. It was not very good. Shield is a great one. This
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Homeland-
Shield's gone through three. Shield's gone through 3 versions of their.
all 3 work for me. Sword, the sentient world observation research develop that works for me too. If you couldn't do it, M.O.D.O.F.K. M.O.D.O.F.K. doesn't, and M.O.D.O.F.K's not even a word. It's not even like Shield and Sword are words, you know.
Mhm.
Like in Ironheart, we know Natalie is a word too. Shout out to Evel Ewing for having a brain and putting it together. I'm actually gonna pull it up since I got the comic right next to me, and you're gonna see how the best friend of Riri Williams, named Natalie, actually has a AI, and every letter is represented. Here we go. Wait, where is it? I wish.
And the evidence has disappeared.
I want to bring up Exhibit A.
If I can find it.
Okay, I'm not that big of an Ironheart fan. I can't find. The
Oh
specific
yeah,
page,
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not a Silver Surfer fanboy.
but it's that girl there who's the artificial intelligence whose name is Natalie. And it stands for like neural automated technologically life enhancer, you know, and it's spelled the word. Okay, just
I
saying.
mean, it ain't barf, but you know, it's cool.
Scott and Hope. Well, let me actually read what the live chat actually were saying about this. It's true. It's false. Yeah, it was all majors. It's false. USOA. What does that mean? United States of America?
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good comeback. Thank you.
Kitty.
When we
Let's
watch
see what
wrestling
they
and
found.
Rusev is getting cheered against or one of those foreigners, they always chant USA. So the USOA would ruin that.
Well, no,
Oh,
usually
goodness.
Just like
M.O.D.O.F.K. and
Well,
M.O.D.O.F.K.
no, because it used to be U.S. of A. They would chant U.S. of A, U.S. of A. So
When was this?
No.
Iron
long
Sheik?
time ago,
No, they say
I'm old.
USA.
Number 17. Scott and Hope didn't kiss because of some sort of off the screen, behind the scenes drama.
Oh, you mean real life drama?
Evangeline Lilly.
But I noticed that it was
Uh,
weird that they didn't kiss at all. Even in the end, they just bumped heads.
You noticed
She
it
was
too.
literally
Well-
present in the movie. She was literally there to whine to her mom, which that was a weird thing to me too. Why they didn't talk in that 5-year span at all? Like
no,
about
no,
nothing.
apparently not at all.
They were blipped.
At all.
No, they was
They
blipped.
blipped.
No,
Did
but when she
they
came
blipped?
back,
Hope,
They,
Janet.
yeah, they all got
all
blipped.
got blipped.
Remember?
Can you
remember-
talk while you're blipped?
No, you're basically dead.
No,
You're
you're
dead.
dead. You blipped out of existence.
You're not in
Blipped out of
another
existence.
location. You're simply gone.
But wait,
Yeah.
who? Oh, it was just
Yeah.
Hank and Cassie that survived. That's who built.
Right.
the-
But at the same
Okay.
time,
No,
after they
Hank,
came
Hank,
back,
Hank got blipped. Hope got blipped. Janet got blipped. The
Yeah,
only
that's
person
why
who
Scott
didn't get
was
blipped
stuck.
was Cassie. Because when Scott came back, the first person he saw was Cassie.
well,
Which-
So how
technically,
did she learn all the quantum stuff? I thought she.
Because
hold
she-
on.
because
Quick learner.
Scott technically
MacGuffin.
didn't get blipped, though. Scott technically didn't get
No,
blipped.
he didn't get
because he
blipped,
was
so
not-
he was in the quantum realm.
He
So
was
when he
in the
came
quantum
out,
realm.
the first person he saw was Cassie.
yeah,
because-
that's the person he
because
looked for.
Yeah, because all the rest of them got blipped in the end of Ant-Man, at the end of Ant-Man 2. So
I'm trying to
Okay,
figure
all
out
right. So if you
where
look
did
at
she
the- if you
find
look
the
at
time to build that machine?
Well,
And
all
they
the time it took for Scott
please,
to do a
please.
podcast and write a book. During that time, she was meeting up with Hank when he was on tour on his book tour. Scott,
Yeah, she read his notes.
She read his
And
notes.
if you look at the end of Ant-Man
Who
2,
needs an engineering degree in
Or
the
read notes.
MCU? Just
quantum
read some
physics
notes.
degree.
It
Thank
works
you,
for
Jamie.
Ray. You just got to look at the Jedi's text. You look at the Hank Pym text, you're good.
Yeah, look at the handpicked text, and you're an engineering genius.
As
how it
much
works.
as I
chill.
like this film, that was I sat there, I was like, you gotta be effing kidding me. For real. You looked at Hank Pym. I was like, if you look at Bill Foster, who is a scientist and a man of science, a professor, couldn't even touch any of the quantum physics to even try to save Ghost. And this chick built it in a garage. Get out of here.
Casey
Get
did
out
it
of here.
because it's like,
Get out of here.
We got a super chat coming out of Steve Starenka. He said, Chillmonger said, shield, so I donate. Hey, shield, armor, arrows, keep them coming. Thank you. Helmet,
Helmet.
I hope it works. I'm
Real
joking.
quick, I
Steve,
looked
thank
at
you very
the
much for the
Ant-Man
5.
2.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the heart. Appreciate everything. Get out, you said?
I look at the end of Ant-Man 2 and I wonder why was Janet helping them jump back into the quantum realm if she didn't want them to even go back into it, think about playing with it. Because she was helping them at the end of Ant-Man 2. They was literally going back into the quantum realm to do some stuff.
because that storyline had
she-
that, because they didn't have that storyline back then, so they didn't bother worrying about it.
She also
But the
has some
part-
powers. What happened to her powers?
Yeah, those
What
powers.
powers?
Her healing powers.
Her healing-
Yeah, she has some powers. What happened?
Nobody
the
needed
power-
healing.
It was power of love.
The only power she had
Power of
that
family.
helped for specifically Ghost's issue. That's the only thing.
But remember, they only went to
Yeah,
go
you
get
have too
quantum
much
energy.
money, Steve. He said, "Oh God, stop saying." Thank you, Steve. Thank you for the donation. Okay, I'll zip it. I'll you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away and run, as The Rock has taught me during that sing along with Steve Austin. And so I appreciate you, Steve Starenka, man. That's very nice of you for going this hard for me.
But remember, in Ant-Man 2, they only went to go get quantum energy. So they didn't go. Remember, there's places in the quantum realm that you could go and not get sucked into where they were at, where they got sucked into.
Like
so
the
they
ants.
so they just went to go get the quantum energy and jump back out. Remember, she was telling them, don't get caught up in the time vortexes and all this other stuff. Just go get the quantum energy from this particular point and then jump back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then at the same time, why was she upset about sending just a signal to the quantum realm?
Because
she
remember-
was freaking out over just a signal.
Because remember, she gave the coordinates at the beginning of Ant-Man 2 when Scott was playing her, which is still hilarious to me. And
Yeah.
she gave him particular coordinates to come get her so she didn't alert who was down there. Because they really was setting this up since Ant-Man 2, this whole Kang thing. So that's the reason why. That's why one of the reasons why she was like, no, I don't really want to talk about some of the things that went on in there so they could be able to bring that out in the second movie. Or
yeah.
the third movie.
Or the third movie, yeah. But
Why even chance it if you know Kang exists? I don't know. Maybe she
because
thought
otherwise we wouldn't have a movie.
yeah, that too. Dre defending a mid movie. Oh,
Hey.
Snyder stuff was
Hey.
coming hot.
Hey, Snyder, you already know you can go to my channel. You can see my review. I don't care.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, but I know you went an hour long a day ago, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
but Snyder,
Yeah.
that's not fair because you have Chillmonger defending a mid-movie Captain Marvel. So I mean,
Captain Marvel is
Anything, it's kind of your fault.
I actually clicked the wrong one, but I guess that works too. I was gonna actually do this one.
wrong?
That's what I was trying to say.
That's what I was waiting for. That's
Yeah.
what I was waiting for.
Let's see here. The signal is coordinates. The signal is coordinates. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the specific scene when Paul Rudd had to pretend to be Michelle Pfeiffer's guy. Oh, Hank, we got so little time, and he put her hands on. That was a great performance,
That
bro.
was great. That was awesome.
I don't go into Marvel for the acting, but that was great. And Kang in this movie, Jonathan Majors, he did very well. They weren't setting up Kang in Ant-Man 2. No, they weren't. I don't think they knew they were going.
I wouldn't say at that time they had like Kang ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Because why else would you stick in the quantum realm if you weren't eventually going to do
Thank
something
you.
with Kang?
Which you couldn't use the microverse or the micronauts. And Synchronopolis is still in that verse. They already had Kang on the brain.
Well, I feel like it was this. Because we know after Endgame, right? They had to do so much fast tracking because they fucked up their time travel, what they was going to use. Because if no one received that Endgame time travel as poorly as it did, they would never fast tracked it the way they did in Loki to try and make it make sense to us. So I think, yeah, they was probably thinking about doing Kang eventually, but I don't think they had a plan that he would be in the quantum realm and all that stuff. I think Endgame was when they really had to switch stuff around. Because if they was going to set up this time travel, the time travel for Kang and stuff, that was dependent on what Endgame set up.
You know why that's a good point, Dot? Because if you think about what happened in Endgame, right, when they were doing all of their time traveling stuff, they had to go and get the stones and they had to go and put the stones back. Steve went back and lived his whole life, yada, yada, yada. Where the hell was the TV at?
See?
Remember, he said they were supposed to do that because it's part of the secret timeline.
And see,
that's why you gotta watch it. That's why you have to watch the shows. That's why you have to watch Loki.
And that's why the show, because if you look at it, Thanos came from another, and this is where they got it mixed up. They try to combine universe traveling with time traveling.
Oh yeah, and alternate
different
timelines. They're just mixed match.
Thanos from a different universe, and Gamora from a different universe came over to the sacred timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But in Loki, it was just a sacred timeline. It was no other universe.
No, they didn't come from another universe. They came from another point in time during from the same time stream.
Same time, different
time. Okay. Yeah, just different time. So they pulled Thanos from 2014 in the sacred timeline. It now created another branch timeline after they smoked him, and now he's dust.
And see, that's the issue I have with the MCU time. You can do anybody do time travel whatever way they want because it's not a real thing. But because even Ebony Maw said it in the movie. This is Nebula from 9 years into the future, but Nebula killed her past self. So by that technicality, Nebula should be gone from existence because she killed herself in the past.
Time travel. What you do in the past affects your future. If you kill yourself in the past, now your new self, whatever Hulk said, you know what I mean? Which I do understand. If she came from 9 years in the past, right? So even if she kills her future self, all she's doing is doing another branching timeline. That's why
she now becomes that universe.
The universe is if you look at Loki, at the end of Loki, they were literally showing the branches of timelines after He Who Remained dies. So all of this stuff that they were trying to prune in the TVA, probably to stop from Kang from coming. Can't get other universes, start creating those branching timelines. Because remember, that's what the Nexus event is, when somebody goes off script. You know what I mean? So they completely went off script. So now you have all these other timelines going on.
I was muted, my bad. That time travel was not written well in Endgame. It was for a branched timeline. Don't put too much logic in this. You guys went way off. Like, who cares? They don't care. The guy who wrote it, Michael Waldron, and his universe stuff in Loki didn't necessarily match what Multiverse of Madness did, and he wrote that
That's
also.
All.
There's flaws
so
here.
Surprising. I was like, they gave you the keys, guy. You put in the building blocks, and now you've got the feature film, and he completely fumbled it. I was
So wait. You can just blame everything on Spider-Man for making everything wonky, and then we can blame Kang even more for ruining things. That's fine. It's perfectly
explained. They never would have taken Doctor Strange out of the end of WandaVision. It kind of would have tracked all the way through Spider-Man, because now that it's like, all right, well, I tried to interfere with Wanda and it didn't work. You had this Nexus event. She's off somewhere gallivanting in the universe. Now I'm up here on Spider-Man. Let me try a different approach. Now it makes sense that he's entertaining what he's doing with Peter. It makes a little bit more sense because what he just tried with Wanda ended catastrophically. But you take that out of there and you think he's the same hardened Doctor Strange. No, we have to protect the time zone. We got to protect this reality. We got to protect. And now all of a sudden he's just willy-nilly giving Peter a time reversal spell.
Willy-nilly. That's right. That's how I'd put it also. I think the Infinity Saga is the end, and the Multiverse Saga and beyond is the beginning, and it's one big time loop. No, that's not happening. No.
Well, he who remains said, I'm gonna just end up here anyway. So it is basically.
Did we even answer this about Scott and Hope having a kiss? Who cares? True or false? Cassie has only been in jail 3 times. There's only been 3 times that she's been in jail. Nope. Hank knew about one of them. Okay. And then they discussed about that at the dinner table. That was one. And then the second time was during the events of the movie in the beginning. And then in the quantum realm, that counts as jail. She's been locked up 3 times. She has most certainly been to jail more than 3 times. This is false. Cassie?
Well, in the movie, was Scott shocked seeing her in jail, or was he just shocked that's like, oh, you're in jail again?
He was more or less.
Remember, he was surprised. Wait,
that she
did
was
you
in
say
jail.
again?
Because
Yeah,
at the family table, Hank was the one that said, yes, this is the something about.
And then later in the movie, in the quantum realm where both of them were locked, he goes, this is my 4th time, and I was counting all 4. I'm like, yeah, that's accurate. And it was her 3rd time, and I counted that, and I go, that's accurate. But has she been in more? It's false, bro. She has been more times than 3. Jaded, is Cassie Lang?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because if she had been in jail before, why did she call her dad the second time? Why did she not call her dad the first time she was in jail?
He was
he was probably selling his book.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably what it was.
And hey, not to mention how many times she's been handcuffed also. Just because
wait
she
a
doesn't
minute.
go to jail every single time doesn't mean she's not reprimanded, putting back of police cars and whatnot.
Well, and that's why I asked. Like,
in the middle of a book reading, in the middle of a book reading, he's called by the police, going, "Why is prison calling me?" Like he's literally shocked. So she called him in the middle of a book reading. I don't think she cares what he's doing.
Because he was shocked. Like, why is my daughter in jail?
Yeah,
that had to be in her like first time. Because I'm like, because I'm looking at Cassie, and you look at Cassie from Endgame, that does not look like a girl that,
and again, how old was she?
Cover.
Black
That
Lives
does not
Matter
look like a
protest.
girl that goes.
And not only that,
She would be the kind. That's right.
also, how old was she? Like, the second time she got arrested, how old was she? Because if she was under 18, they're calling her father.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Or
So
Yeah.
I don't know how
Grandpa
old
Hank.
Cassie is. So
She called Grandpa Hank.
Well,
it doesn't matter. The police would have called her father.
Can we talk about how awful the editing was in Ant-Man 3? Sure, it was awful. They probably had to chase a few minutes of that movie to make it short enough to fit in multiple screenings, just to make money. I felt the same way for the Thor movie. Maybe because Black Panther was so long, Wakanda Forever was so long, and it didn't make the money they wanted. They said, "Oh, this is the way we'll make money. Make it shorter, more showings."
Yeah, it was just over 2 hours.
2 hours and 5 minutes exactly.
It was more
M.O.D.O.F.K,
movie.
oh my god, I don't think I've seen anything that looked worse than that in the MCU, to be honest.
She seemed comfortable. It didn't look like that when I got out of jail. Kenny, I don't know what you did. Maybe you were just like Scott. You know, there's a Vista Corp that you needed to take care of, and you're one of the good guys, Kenny. He was stuck in the quantum realm for 5 years.
Yeah,
that's
but
why.
how did Hank know?
I guess that's when
the
he
thing.
was. That's when he was.
Right,
on his
because in
book
those
tour.
5 years, ain't no way she like learned that quantum realm stuff or all that and went to. She wasn't going to jail.
Yeah, you know, Hank Pym went to universities and graduate schools and trained, and
That was the
and
first
did
time going to
things,
jail in this
but
movie.
she learned it in 5 years reading his notes.
That is some bull crap. That is bull crap.
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
Yes, I did.
19. Why can they breathe in the quantum realm? What's up with
Because
that?
the movie needed them
Pocket
to.
universe.
Because the movie needed them to.
It's a pocket
How did they even enter the quantum realm? Like, there's
So is it not
I mean,
feasible?
it's a totally separate universe.
It's-
I mean,
it's
as
a
I
separate
expected.
universe.
So the rules are different.
No.
Yeah,
think
depending on
about
the
it.
movie. Because in Ant-Man 2, you needed the suit to breathe, but in Ant-Man 3, you didn't need the suit to breathe.
Remember,
right.
but
No, because
remember,
Janet didn't need it. She's human.
but remember, there was parts of the quantum realm that they couldn't go to. That's why the natives
Yeah.
stayed around that Quantopolis area. If we're going to call it Quantopolis, they stayed around that Quantopolis area. Remember, Hank went out trying to look for hope, and he went into the wrong direction and kept getting pulled different which ways or whatever. Then when he finally got out of that, that's when he seen Janet.
Yeah, but
And-
when
and
they
Drake,
landed,
that scene where he was
they
pulled
didn't land
away,
anywhere near.
that must have been when he drank the goop so he could understand language. That's probably when it happened. For
Wait,
his
when
character.
That was an Ant-Man too.
Remember in the first movie when Scott went subatomic, right?
Yeah.
Did he dip into the quantum realm when he went subatomic? Remember when he like shrunk himself too much?
He went and
Think
rose
he-
all black. Yeah.
Didn't he like dip into parts of the quantum realm?
Yeah.
It's a big realm.
Yeah.
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 So
Okay.
if the quantum realm is in this universe, right?
It's a universe within the universe.
Universe within the universe. Cool. But it's still within this universe, right?
Well, it's
Which
outside
is-
of time and space.
Okay, still.
Wait a
it's
minute,
from
wait a
here
minute.
is the point I'm trying to make.
It's
right?
on film.
It's from here.
Uh-huh.
We have a carbon-based universe as we know it,
Mhm.
right? With carbon-based organisms.
Of
you
course.
go to the quantum realm, and it's kind of the same. I mean, there are humans
Oh,
walking around, there are
but Marcus-
animals walking around with eyes and noses and mouths to breathe out of. So why
Holes.
wouldn't the quantum
Holes.
realm mirror in some way, at least organically or molecularly? I can't say that word. As
Because it's not a
what is
word.
here. Yeah.
Because that would be boring. Who wouldn't want to see
Because-
a broccoli
because
with
you-
eyes?
Because you're ignoring the fact that MCU dislogic is being forced into the story.
It's the
MCU,
convenience.
They don't care.
Dude, you got to have something that's cool. Like literally, matter of fact, remember was it Ant-Man 2? You start seeing little different like microscopic organisms floating around and all this other stuff. You got to make it interesting. What made it interesting is a broccoli with eyes, a goop guy to drink. You know what I mean? To be able to understand people. You got to make it cool. That would have been boring to see more humans down there that look like that. Would have been boring.
Yeah, because if you look at the creatures down there, some of them look like germs and stuff, and most germs you can't see.
Yeah, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be boring, kind of like when the Hulk went to Subatomica and married Jarella, and they were all human-like. It was.
Well,
so
I was
boring.
really just answering the
That
question
entire
as to
story
why
was so
why
boring.
they're able to breathe down there. It's the same reason why all those creatures exist.
Yeah.
The elements that allow us to breathe here exist in the quantum realm. So that's
Right, because all of those alien creatures are oxygen breathers.
yeah.
Yeah, they're all oxygen breathers. Not unlike Pandora, where you have different organisms from different planets that have different oxygen atmospheres. In the MCU, the quantum realm is like the magic world where whatever they want happens.
The suit is only used to ingest Pym particles. Janet also said Hank didn't lose deep enough. That's why he didn't know that there was life in the quantum realm. He didn't go deep enough. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
how did he see it in the second time?
He went deeper.
How did she know? How did she know?
Because she was there. What do you mean?
She went when they found Janet, she was in a certain deep level of the quantum realm.
Well, because
If they went deeper, they would have never found her.
Okay.
Well, Jaden, remember she sent that specific signal for them to
Yes.
pinpoint where she's at.
Yes. And remember, there's a deleted scene where she kind of talks about that, but she was outside of the major city because that's the first
too
time
bad.
we
It's a
saw
deleted
that.
scene. It should have been.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying is instead of using that in Ant-Man 2, they just saved it for Ant-Man 3 to go ahead and show you the city and why she was on the outskirts of the city.
The same way ants can breathe. Snyder, because she wanted to forget, she just wanted to be Hope's mom, which I can understand. Some may not like that. All life on Earth is carbon-based, but is the quantum realm on Earth?
It's on Earth.
It's on
That's why
Earth.
I'm thinking. I'm
Within
thinking.
the Earth.
Well,
How is it not?
I just think it's within the universe because
Yeah, you can
But
enter.
the
You can
only
enter
way to
the
get to
quantum
it,
realm
you
from
need-
anywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
you
'cause
could
the
be
only way
on
to get to
Mars.
it-
But there are other
Right.
carbon-based planets within this universe. It's not just Earth.
So you could
Right.
get there from Mars or Titan. I didn't see any scrolls down there. That would be a nice time.
Yeah,
If you guys
isn't
are
that
connected,
odd?
if this is a universe, remember how I saw a scroll in the TVA? Can I
Mm.
see a scroll in the quantum realm? I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think you can get from anywhere, any planet, because the only way to get to the quantum realm is just like how Scott kind of did it first.
It's
You
to
have to
enter
shrink
the
because
yeah,
if
those
any,
planets.
I guarantee if anybody came out the quantum realm as they are, all those people in them would be so small that we couldn't see them. They're basically like germs that we can't even see. So
20K out. Where's Punisher?
shoot, well, wait, MC Punisher. I mean, he chilling with his Nerf guns and stuff. His rubber bullets. Only pulling up. He's
Where
gonna
did we
pull up.
last
bringing
leave him
justice.
off? In Netflix. Where was he last?
Oh, he was.
Didn't he
his
kill?
friend. He killed that dude.
Yeah, he
killed
kind
He
of
was
went
that
off.
partner of his, wasn't he?
Yeah, he killed his partner.
Right.
The partner who set him up.
The second
Right.
one. Yeah.
I just
Wait,
can't remember what happened.
in season 2.
Season. Was it 2 or 3?
Yeah, it was season 2 because season 2 was long.
Yeah.
Because he didn't kill that religious like preacher dude or whatever. He saved the girl and then he just kind of went off on his own. He went off into the sunset to go where Punisher might be needed.
Jada, do
Punisher's
you
still
care?
looking for a war. He's still looking for a war.
Yep.
I think that the Punisher is in the MCU. Where? We're gonna find out that he's responsible for all
I
these
don't
killings.
know,
And in
man.
his series, in the Daredevil series, it'll be like the most important thing ever, and then it won't matter anymore. Kind of like Moon Knight. That's what's gonna go on.
More than like,
Oh my god.
I don't think they're going to be able to do it with Bernthal. I don't see them being able to do Bernthal's Punisher in the MCU
Well,
because of what they're
busy.
already probably doing to Matthew Cox's Daredevil. The tone just does not fit. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I would. Only reason why I say I'm being optimistic is Kevin Feige recently came out and was talking about Deadpool, the Deadpool 3, and talking about this is going to be the first R-rated MCU movie, and the tone of it. I guarantee you, if this is successful, probably Kevin's going to roll that dice and say, "Hey,
On a
let's
television
give us that
show,
time."
though, I
Hell
haven't seen it
yeah.
in a movie. Does he roll the dice on the TV? The last time we thought we were getting something edgy or outside of the family box from Disney, it was Moon Knight. Which
I like Moon Knight.
No, it was okay enough show, but the tone of the show, was it that far from the rest of the shows that you've seen in Phase 4? In terms of
yeah,
the
I mean,
tone-
yeah,
the tone was
the tone.
The tone was a little. Moon Knight was a little different because you didn't know if he was a reality or if he was in his own head. So the tone was a little bit different, especially once we found out Jake Lockley is real. The tone got really real.
Yeah, but we didn't get that until the show was over.
Oh, I'm just, I'm
Oh, hey, we on deck.
Just okay, yeah. Got me just. I'm a Moon Knight fan, like my man Moon Knight.
Flex on me. He just flexed.
Yeah, I
on me
mean,
real quick. Come on, man.
hopefully, if Kevin,
You guys you guys have your comic books like right beside you? I mean, like
technically, I do.
I have them in long boxes, so it's like I just.
Yep, technically I do because I got comics I need to put up. So.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, yeah, right, because you're going to be talking about them, so you got them set up and ready.
Yeah,
right.
He's gaining his holy angel weapons and training to become a demon slayer.
Well, hopefully, if
Shark Boy, yeah.
Actually,
it looked like George Lopez's head shrunk into that t-shirt.
No, Frank Castle is waiting for the operation to be black.
Cosmic Ghost
I know.
Rider.
I remember that too. How you said that? I remember that comic because I had that comic.
Yeah.
The first race swap, or was it the other way around? I forgot. NyQuil Knights. Oh God. Fast and the wait. Force Away. What is that? Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's been a while. I forgot. I've seen this one before. Had more.
It was a lot edgier than Moon Knight.
I saw somebody get impaled in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It
had certain elements, but overall,
Like people say,
It
you
was
don't
a
need
more
to-
serious show, though. It was a more serious show.
Yeah, people say you don't need to curse or show blood or be overly violent. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: when you identify those shows that do have quote unquote serious tones or more adult tones, what do? They cuss more. They fight. There's blood.
And you see
It
blood
looks like
and you see
someone's actually
physical
getting hurt
damage.
when it happens. Yeah. So that goes into it. It doesn't have to all be that. You don't have to turn into Tarantino, but you do have to raise that level a bit.
Snyder,
You
you
have to
can't
raise
tell me
the
to
stakes.
post
You
all
have
of
to
your
raise the
comments and then you write a comment like that. Like I'm not gonna if I pre-read it, I'm not gonna post that one. 21. Would you rather be a villain of Thor or Hawkeye? Here's the question. Okay.
Oh,
Thor, you're a villain of him. You get to be like, I'm a Thor villain, but he's Thor. You're not gonna be victorious that often. But Hawkeye, okay, he's an Avenger. You're probably an Earth street bound person. I want to be a villain for someone that I probably got the one. I got the one up on Hawkeye a few times. This is like not a very. It's a one-sided relationship for Thor. But if I'm a Hawkeye villain, then that's still credit that you get. That's impressive. You are a Hawkeye villain. That's something. People are not just going to compare you to. Well, you're not a Thor villain. That just doesn't happen until this question.
Chill. If you're talking MCU Thor, you have to look at. Yeah, we're forgetting one thing about this version of Thor. There's only one villain that he defeated on his own, and that was Loki in the first movie.
Loki kept tricking him. He kept going. Are you gonna continuously fall for the same trick? I would want to be a Thor villain.
I would definitely be a Thor. This Thor, I'll definitely be a Thor villain.
So
that's
easy. Hawkeye villain easily. There's no debate. There's no question.
Because Hawkeye's the GOAT. Wait.
He's getting deaf. I'm gonna take him out any minute now. Next battle we have.
Remember
next
in
encounter,
Avengers
his
2,
last encounter.
Avengers 2, what did he do to Wanda with that arrow? Knocked her out. He put her to sleep. She was putting
canonically that was 8 years ago.
Okay, hold on. The fact that he's going deaf is irrelevant because in Thor movie, he goes, "Where's the hawk?" "Oh, on his perch." And he goes, "I see better from a distance." And when he was coordinating in the Avengers, it wasn't because the fact that he was deaf was irrelevant. He was still coordinating and saying
he hears better from a distance too now.
No, he sees better from a distance. So the fact that he's deaf is irrelevant.
I'm going to be a Thor villain because at least in battle I get to go to wherever special magical palace after he smashes me with my hammer. So
you'll go to Valhalla.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a Hawkeye villain because the only thing I gotta do to Hawkeye is get close. I want to win. I
would like do hand to hand. He went up against
I would rather not have my face smashed in religiously by Mjolnir. I want to win. And the only thing I got to do to beat Hawkeye is get close enough to get to hand, and then I got a shot.
Hold on. You're talking about a guy that went hand to hand and stood toe to toe with T'Challa. Oh, he does have some hand to hand skills.
He wasn't trying to hurt Clint. He kept telling him, "Hey, you better get out my way before I get serious."
He said, "My name is Clint." He said, "I don't care."
Marcus, like this because if you're a Thor villain, you're going to get power. You're automatically going to be imbued with powers that is on par with Thor.
But I'm not going to beat. You're not going to beat him, like Chillmonger said.
But this version of Thor, you can. This version of Thor, you're always going to definitely beat him because he only beat one villain, and that was Loki in the first movie.
He took out Malekith by throwing those devices at him. Remember?
I don't count that because that was his girlfriend made the device. All he did was throw it. He didn't beat him with Mjolnir. I don't count that.
The next question.
How did he beat Hela?
He didn't.
No,
Surtur
he didn't. Surtur did.
He didn't. He basically set her up. So that's Surtur. Because he literally he's saying, "Hulk, stop beating up Surtur. We need him to kill Hela."
Big monster.
Yeah.
And I guess he technically didn't beat Gore either. Gore
he didn't beat Gore.
Oh, Gore won.
Gore gave up.
He gave
it's
him a
not his
Naruto.
nemesis. He has hand-to-hand skills. He takes his bow and he turns it into a staff.
Like, comment, subscribe. Question number 22. Do the trailers hype or deceive? This is
They're
an either or.
starting to deceive a little bit because
they've been deceiving for a while. They've been deceiving for a while.
Are we talking about MCU trailers or trailers in general?
MCU.
I would say ever since the Russo brothers started doing what they was doing with trailers, that trend started.
But
That
Jada, you can't even do that.
That's
You
like a
can't.
waste of money.
Right, you can't even do that anymore.
Scene,
Right, it was heavy like that scene had an Infinity War trailer with Hulk
yeah,
and them all.
I am never forgetting that.
That's a
Man,
waste of money.
They
I would
never
have
let
been
that
pissed.
go.
If I'm sitting up here looking at a deficit that what we have now, and I'm thinking back like, damn, man, we really let them shoot a whole 30 seconds of throwaway footage for no other reason
Right.
than to throw off the trolls. It's just
but I think because originally they did film scenes where Hulk was gonna come out the suit in Infinity War. So that scene where they filmed all them running, I think I was legit gonna be in the movie, but they just cut it and they just threw it in that trailer regardless, even if it wasn't gonna be in the movie.
And with Spider-Man No Way Home, didn't they cut out a certain villain in one of the scenes so that they could deceive
in the trailer?
us?
Yeah.
Well, they
They cut out Toby and Andrew in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
cut
is
out
that
Toby
more
Andrew,
hype?
so it was
Jaden,
literally
is that hype
designed.
or is that deceiving? Which one would you do? Would you say, oh, that's got me really hyped, or would you say that got me deceived? I would say
That got me
deceived. It's
Because
deceiving.
if the idea to hype, if the idea, the whole hype with Spider-Man No Way Home was Toby and Andrew were supposed to be in it. So if that trailer was meant to hype, you would have shown Toby or Andrew.
I think the
But because they
Russo
purposely
thing is more
did it,
so deception.
That was
the
deception.
hiding Garfield and Maguire, that's kind of integral to what you were doing with the movie. If we all already knew.
Yeah.
So if you
Right,
acknowledge it,
everybody,
if you start putting it out there, it takes some of the steam off.
Yeah,
I agree, but it's
agree.
still
The
deceiving.
luster off of that. Oh man, we got all three Spider-Mans in the movie, even though we all kind of knew it was going to happen. They
Right?
just couldn't acknowledge it forwardly
Yes.
like that. But
Why
the Russo
not?
shit, that's
Because he's
They
a
could have ignored.
Andrew
Spider-Man
Smith, he's
showed
a
up in
book.
Civil War's trailer at the end. He just flipped on Captain America's shield. Hey everyone,
But
that created hype. So you
that-
tell me, oh, Andrew
I
couldn't
would
come
have
out of the
died if
portal?
Spider-Man never showed up in the movie.
the reason why they did that to get people excited about Civil War because they competed with DC for Batman v Superman.
Well, they're competing with other things, okay? And they should definitely have had the hype of seeing Andrew Garfield because we knew. Just show us after the credits. Not the credits. After the trailer says what the name of the movie is. Get your tickets now. And there's like 3 more seconds of trailer. Just have Andrew Garfield walking out of the portal. That's all.
Without even like just like the black, like you wouldn't even you didn't even see it.
No,
It was just
give-
like a
give-
shadow.
Let me ask you, right? So thinking about when those characters actually came into the movie, it was a long movie.
Man.
But think about when they appeared.
Yeah.
If they would have put Toby or Andrew in the
You're saying
preview
that-
and you don't see them until an
You're
hour
saying
20 into the movie, do you not feel deceived?
I know. I still would do it. An hour and 20. That's how long it took for Spider-Man in Civil War. We were fine.
Yeah, you're still hyped to go see. It's like with the Flash trailer. We don't know when Michael Keaton's Batman's going to be in the movie. He could end up appearing.
But Michael
out
Keaton
after
Batman
the
was
movie.
in other scenes
Who
in that.
cares?
We were not overpromised, or rather, we
I
are
mean,
being
but- I
overpromised.
mean, but-
with Michael
but,
Keaton
Jada,
Batman, we're
to
going to
be
get him in
fair
a
with the
lot of
Flash-
scenes, and we know that there's going to be a flying scene where Keaton's going to be there. He's going to be on a motorcycle. He's in a bat cave. There's so many Keaton scenes. There is only going to be one in my scenario where Andrew Garfield comes out the portal. That's all.
I
It's
think
like,
at that
all
time,
right,
if
Jay,
you're
I'll
fighting
give a
rumors
better-
about them already being in the movie, you're trying to throw people off the trail, and you know that the first thing, one of the many things that they're going to see, or the first things that they're going to see, is not going to be those characters. It kind of makes sense because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't at that point.
No, you're not. You sell tickets if you just.
Just to add the
The idea is to get butts in the seats. That's all
But
that
they
matters.
did get bust in the seats because once people went to go see it,
Coulda
because
had
they-
more.
because
My
even
theory.
because even in my movie theater, soon as Andrew Garfield came in the scene, because we were hyped, like, are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it? And they did it. I mean, crowd went bananas
Right.
when Andrew, and this is the person that they hated. You know what I
Right.
mean? Remember, they hated Andrew Garfield Spider-Man too.
But remember,
Oh, it's a lot of faux Garfield fans out there, boy. Let me tell you.
but at
I'm
the
not
same
one of them,
time,
but there are so many faux Garfield fans out there.
We was riding
But
for
it's
Garfield
not-
up in that thing.
as Chillmonger says, we're the fans, so we follow this. The general audience didn't know that Toby and Andrew were going to be in it because they didn't know about the rumors and they didn't care.
Did you see it on Thursday, Dre?
Oh yeah,
It was Thursday. Okay, so it's not the general audience; those are hardcores.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
okay. So
It wasn't until after when people were going, "Oh my God, it's confirmed. Toby and Andrew were going to be in this movie." That's when the general audience went, "Oh, really? Now I'm hyped to see the movie."
All you got to do is confirm Andrew, and we can have the hype, and he can have his moment for like the 6 weeks until the movie comes out. We'll all be hyped, and then when the Toby thing happens in the movie, just hype all over again. I'm just saying. Now it's 50-50 according to Kenny. The teasers they hype, but the trailers they deceive, and that is a great answer. That's actually the perfect answer.
Good.
yeah,
That's
and
very
just
good.
to add to just add Marcus' point real quick.
Yeah.
Let's use the Flash trailer for a recent example. Them showing Ben Affleck in the trailer. We already knew he was going to be in the movie, but I think the perception people might get from that trailer is that Ben Affleck's going to have a big part in this movie.
Yeah,
when
no.
he's not. He's
No,
only in
he's
the
not.
first 15 minutes.
They cut.
I
most-
disagree with that
He's only in the
caveat.
first 15 minutes.
No, because they only showed one clip of Ben Affleck Batman. So
Nah,
realistically,
showed,
Blue
they
and
showed
Gray
3 clips.
Batman, wasn't that him?
nah,
Yeah.
that was
He
Keaton.
was he's the gray Batman. He's
He was
in
the
the
Gray Batman.
he's the gray-
He was
he's
the black,
gray-
the black and
yeah,
gold.
he got the
Batman.
old school. Yeah, he got the old school suit.
Oh, I'm
The
wrong then.
can't move your head.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
you can't
that's
turn
his
neck. You
upgraded
can't
suit.
turn his neck.
That's who
The rubber
suit he's
suit.
wearing in
The
the trailer is
Rubber
upgraded.
suit, yeah, the neck
It's his
thing.
upgraded suit.
Realistically, we have like the Supergirl character and the and 2 Flashes. I think we should know that not much screen time is going to go to these other characters just because of the ones who are going to be.
Supergirl, Michael Keaton, Batman, and the 2 Barrys are going to have the bulk of the movie.
We should know this.
Ben Affleck won't because he's going to have like 15 minutes.
I don't think that they can short the Keaton Batman. I think that would be a mistake if they.
Yeah, I
short-
mean, yeah, because
Yeah.
he's basically the Thomas Wayne Batman of his story.
Uh-huh.
So he's gonna be in a huge chunk of this.
I only know that because I watched the animated film Flashpoints.
Yeah, and that mug is
Good
awesome.
movie. Good movie.
Brell says it's 50-50. Richado, I guess the Doctor Strange True trailer did get me hyped. Oh, yeah, because we actually heard Professor X's voice.
Yep.
Mhm.
That'd have been nice if they withheld it. Like, if you were going to hear his voice, why don't we see him also? You know what I mean? That was a weird decision there.
Nah, you want to know what they messed up at? They should have Magneto voice coming out the trailer saying, Charles! They messed up at.
You should have killed me when you had the chance.
There's always a speech, and no one cares. Oh, I guess the Doctor Strange 2 trailer did get me hyped, but Spider-Man and Black Panther weren't in the Civil War trailer. False.
Black Panther wasn't in the original one. In the first Caesar trailer, Spider-Man came in, flipped into Captain America's shield, and said, hi. You know what I'm saying? Hey there.
Okay, yeah. So
In the
look,
first-
Kenny, there's TV spots, there's trailers, and there's teasers, and I can't say which was which. I'm just gonna go with Dre. Teaser, yeah, he was in there.
Yeah.
No, but you definitely knew Chadwick Boseman Black Panther was happening. They announced it at the Comic-Con when they announced Civil War. Everybody knew it was going to be
But
there.
again, those of us who follow that knew. The general audience don't.
I mean, Comic-Con is basically a big commercial. I can take Comic-Con. Now, they didn't bring out Andrew or Toby at Comic-Con, Sony meaning, right? It leading up to No Way Home. They kept that quiet. So they were trying to keep it hush hush. Black Panther, it was like, all right, well, yeah, sure. If you're just walking by a movie theater and say, oh, let me go catch a Marvel flick, you may not know Black Panther's going to be in there.
Right.
If you know anything about MCU, you knew.
Yeah, if you were following. Yeah.
Right.
Derail. Don't know you're being deceived until you've been deceived.
And then once we've been deceived, we've been deceived.
Did you guys catch Dre laughing a little bit extra hard because his Kansas City brother was making a joke? Did you catch that? Nobody laughed that hard. There was this little messaging happening there.
What up, D-Real? What's up?
Let's see here. You're right. They totally were. I just watched it. I'm dumb.
About the appearance of Black Panther and Spider-Man in the trailer.
Yeah, when they were announcing Phase 3.
And plus, remember, they were hyping up Black Panther because it was the first time he's being introduced in live action, because they haven't introduced him before that until Ultimate Avengers 2, as far as like actual, animation.
Yeah, this was the one. This was the iteration that could transcend further in other iterations. Yeah.
As the great Nate Moore once said, right?
Feige said that one.
Oh yeah.
Feige said it. Yeah. I watched this, see if it was right, and I was wrong.
Nate Moore co-signs it.
Next question.
Chiefs.
Why must every Thor get a shirtless scene? Female demographic.
So
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Same
women.
reason Aquaman has to have a shirtless
I
scene.
mean,
But Aquaman, he had more shirtless scenes though.
if I got a sexy chest, I'm gonna have a shirtless scene. So I mean, hey.
You know what? Maybe that's what the Chillmonger needs to make it to the next
Hey.
level.
And look, as long as it makes sense. To be fair, the actors should get to show their gains because these actors
What they
didn't
do to
work
their
out for
bodies
much.
to get that way?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
they didn't work out for nothing.
Oh yeah,
he's married.
What you
I'm
mean, like
getting
in
naked.
300, where it was all airbrushed? Come on.
Yeah, I'm getting naked.
Hey, those was real muscles, Jaden.
Yeah, right. They were not real.
So did Thor when Zeus blew all his
No,
clothing
that's-
away.
got naked.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Hey, this is a broad audience that Marvel appeals to, and that is why he's got to be shirtless every scene. He goes really hard. It just sucks that he's married and he doesn't get to enjoy the fruits of that. I'm assuming he's a
Who
loyal
says he
man.
doesn't?
I don't think
Yeah, because Tiger Woods was married, so he never got to enjoy the fruits of his.
All he
Jesus,
did
leave
was
Tiger
burn-
out of the.
All he did was birdie his holes. Come on now. Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, because he didn't have a shirtless scene in Thor 2, if I remember.
Man, plus,
Seriously?
He didn't have a shirtless scene in Thor 2.
I'm just being cute now. I'm looking for clips to answer everything with. Seriously, he didn't have a
do we
shirtless
really
scene?
want to hear
No.
Hemsworth talk more?
I mean, not that I
More
remember.
Hemsworth dialogue. I mean, I guess you could replace the naked scenes with more fighting, but I don't think we need more dialogue. Those moments that he's entertaining the women demographic of MCU is our break from some of the not so
would say-
witty banter from
Look
Thor.
at Kenny.
I say Thor Ragnarok though. He was really good at Thor Ragnarok. That's one
Thor
of my favorite
Ragnarok was probably the best it's going to get from Taika in the MCU. I think that's the best it's going to be. And now even looking back on that movie, I feel differently about it knowing where it led. You know, it was an entertaining movie for sure, but knowing where he was going with the character,
Oh yeah.
I look at that.
Hey, let's not do that because sometimes we get into a whole movie review just because I brought one up. Cornelius says,
Hey,
Thor-
I'm trying to be. Hey, chill. Have
Yeah.
you noticed? I'm shutting up when I need these things.
My bad. It's me. I'm sorry.
and we're at question 24. And we're an hour and a half in, so we may close this out in 2 hours, which is the goal always. I never try to go longer. Has the Flurkin ever ate a Skrull?
Probably so. They were terrified.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait. When the Flurkin was in Captain Marvel, was it on the ship that was on Earth, or was
No, it was
on
in
the
Pegasus.
ship?
It was a Pegasus.
It was
in the
it was
shield
it was the invisible ship, the ship that was cloaked.
Oh, in okay, all right, just making sure.
They found it in the shield base. They went up to the sky where there was a secret base. Dr.
Yeah,
Wendy Lawson's facility.
Yeah,
The
her
scroll base.
secret base.
Now, since then, all the way to now, about 30 years of continuity, has it ate a Skrull? No, it eats enemies, and it doesn't even need to eat for enjoyability or sustenance. It does not need to eat a Skrull. All the Skrulls were nice. They're on the same team.
Didn't
Hold up. It ate a scroll in the movie.
Kreese.
Or well, there it was the Kree. That's right. No, it wasn't the Kree.
No, it
That's
ate
okay, the
those two
Flurkin-
Kree soldiers. It ate those two Kree soldiers.
Yeah.
Oh no,
If I
she
remember-
was using the Flurkin to threaten the Skrulls.
Never ate a
If I
Skrull.
remember-
Yeah.
She's in the
if I
Flurkin
remember
to threaten.
correctly, the Flurkin only ever ate anybody that actually attacked it.
Yeah.
So if it
Yeah.
attacked it, it would grab it and then eventually eat it to stop it from attacking it. But it never actually hunted anything because
So-
most of the time it was just a cat and it would just walk around. So it
Yeah.
wasn't really.
Yes,
So if
the
a
cat.
Skrull attacked it, I would say yes, it would have eaten the Skrull.
Most people are saying yes. D-Real says, of course, that's why they're scared. There's some evidence. Yes, and I think Marvel's people will intentionally get eaten by a Flurkin so we get to see the inside.
Yeah, like Ant-Man.
It
Nah,
ain't
if it was the boys, they would.
It
show
did
us.
eat it did eat
It
the
eats the
cube.
cosmic cube.
and it was fine because it made it. It survived. It goes
I don't know,
coughed up in the post-credit scene.
Maybe its insides lead to a pocket dimension. Who knows?
That is the case, yeah.
Oh God! Now we got another dimension to deal with.
How many of those Skrulls are still alive today? You're telling me none of them died of old age?
No.
They age
I mean, it's
on
only
food?
like 3 decades. It's not that long.
Yeah,
It's not that long.
we don't know what
Upper
the
scroll.
Yeah, we don't know what the age limits of a
Yeah,
scroll
like,
is.
I haven't-
They could
And
live hundreds
also-
of years for all we know.
Somebody
Right, and
died.
also when the scrolls got there, they probably got there in like maybe whatever ship they was on. They probably been there since like the 50s. Whenever that Captain, that bootleg.
Yeah, you're right. See,
Marvel-
they've been for a long time. That's right. One
with
of
that
them was a
bootleg
kid, and it was
Marvel.
probably conceived during this mission. One of them, it was Monica's friend. That one little young Skrull. But the rest of them, their parent age, they're old enough to someone to die. So I'm gonna say there were 3 deaths since the Captain Marvel film in the 90s. 3 Skrull deaths out of like the 50 of them.
Yeah, because they was there before the 90s too.
And in the Spider-Man Far From Home, the end credit scene, you saw Nick Fury up in sword. There were so many Skrulls there. Somebody died, people. This old age had to have hit them, or a fight that we're not aware of yet. And I'm not talking about the blip.
I think
but
at most
somebody
they
died.
die from old age because they've been chilling. Don't ain't nobody been messing with them. They've been chilling.
Yeah, like they've been hiding from the Kree, so that was the whole point.
They just been
They
on
could have died
the
of boredom. I mean, who knows?
No, they had video games, arcades.
They had a pinball machine.
Ooh, there you go. That's all that matters. Yeah.
For Secret Invasion to really seem like a threat, it would have to be millions, right? No.
Yeah, but that would be across
Right.
the universe, though. That would be across the universe, not just that. I think Killmonger is specifically talking about the group of Skrulls that
Those on the ship
that were being hidden.
I was
Herb
like,
said
even in the Secret Invasion comic book, it wasn't like millions of them. It was just they
dozens.
took over. Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
dozens.
40
They just took over. The superheroes that was there. So
Is there a question about holes? Rewind the stream to question number 7. There was most certainly a question about holes, and it lives up to your expectations. How many of or 26? Do you incorrectly believe Kang is a good black representation? Who here wants to tell me that this is a great thing? Hey, look at Jonathan Majors.
I
Diversity.
want to talk to you
I
about.
mean, I think
Kang
he's
was black.
I think he's cool as Kang, but
I took a guess.
To me, I don't look at this as no like representation. Like I look at Static Shock as like representation. Kang's not like Kang's just a dude that conquers. He wants to conquer the universe. There's nothing really race associated with him. Like there's no identity associated with him like that. It's been on culture or whatever. He wants to conquer everybody.
And I think Kang is well. He's not a unique case because obviously Chadwick Boseman, but most people are not going, "Oh, it's Kang is black." They're going, "Jonathan Majors was amazing." Like they're going, Jonathan Majors' portrayal of the characters. I mean, they're hyping up the Council of Kangs, where there's that one scene where they're in the audience and there's that one Kang that's just like going hyper, right? I mean, they're like. You have Jonathan. You got the 3 Kangs. You got M.O.D.O.F.K, Rama-Tut, and he's playing the same character, 3 different portrayals. So it's like
I was
Rama-Tut is the key there.
I was dying when I seen all those Kangs in the crowd just gassing up each other. I'm like, this is the enemy.
Yeah, this is the bad guys.
But even with those multiple Kangs, a lot of those are just cannon fodder Kangs.
Oh,
yeah. With the if you know anything about the Council of Kangs in the comics, like that one Kang, it was like it was like he had a monster, some cocaine, you know what I mean, or whatever. He's gonna be cannon fodder. The 3, those 3 is what you want.
Well, maybe 4.
Well, it's 4 because you have Kang that I don't believe is dead at all.
The exiled one.
The exiled one, Immortus, Scarlet Centurion, and Rama-Tut. Those are the ones that
it's just that who is going to be the Scarlet Centurion, because the blue guy.
No, from what I understand, they said the leaks called him the Scarlet Centurion.
Oh, they did? Oh, okay.
The Scarlet Centurion version of Kang. You know what I mean? Because even in that scene, you see him kind of look at Rama-Tut like, I ain't really, because he's the only one who wasn't really talking or giving a look. But when Rama-Tut started talking, he's looking at him like, I don't get down like that with y'all. So, I mean.
And was it just my imagination, or did just Rama-Tut bow when Immortus showed up, or did they both bow?
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice that they
notice either.
bowed, but
Yeah, Rama-Tut bows. I kind of caught that.
But Immortus is, if you know anything about the comic book version, Immortus is the one who plays. Yeah, and he plays he plays everybody. He's playing them.
Rama-Tut, like in the comics, Rama-Tut wasn't originally meant to be Kang. It was retconned. Immortus wasn't originally meant to be Kang. He was retconned.
Yeah.
These guys were answering my question, and they go, after the end credit scene, I don't know. And once people find out he's simped for Ravonna Renslayer, it'll be worse. I see good black actor playing his role well. It's not like the character being black does anything for the community. Okay, well, there's those separate statements I can agree with.
I can agree with that. Because it's not like he's doing this because he was oppressed as a black man in the 31st century. He's doing this because he was bored. And he wanted to travel to. No, seriously, he's doing.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. He was bored.
You know what I mean? So
someone said in a review who gave all Kangs a line of steel. This guy said it. Dre. No way. Who was? But
that's why.
Marcus,
look, some characters who are just bored, you get the best content out of them. Because Kang reminds me of the main character of Death Note. Because a lot of what he does is strictly out of boredom.
Yeah.
You give a bored person all this power. Do you think he could do it?
He just so happens. He just so happens to discover time travel because he's bored. And just think about. I'm not gonna lie. If I was bored in time travel, I'm probably going to go back to ancient Egypt and make sure stuff don't get whitewashed. So I'm just saying, I would do the same thing too. I would probably be Rama-Tut.
You would remember the time?
Yeah, but Rama-Tut didn't go back for whitewashing. Rama-Tut went back for actual domination and conquering.
I would still do that, but
I still that too.
There are role model versions of this character, though, so he's not all bad.
Well, yeah,
that's something that I would say about how we don't have enough black role models. They're the villains and stuff. I think that's a retort to something I would say. Richardo's saying that he isn't bad representation. He also isn't good. And I don't. It's either one or. And what I see with these eyes. Hold on, and I want Marcus to go because it sounded like he was gonna. I've been meaning to say something. He said that like 10 minutes ago.
Well, no, so Kang in particular, especially the Rama-Tut variant, right? Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's accurate. Is that what you're gonna tell me?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about an Egyptian, where exactly is Egypt?
And to give you a fun fact is that I'm actually 8% Egyptian too.
Say it again, Dre Mac.
I am. I'm dead serious. I did my DNA. I'm modern in Egypt. That's part of my DNA.
I know you were just saying, Jay, that is something that had been, retconned into the canon. But as it stands, that portrayal of that variant of Kang was wrong from the start. It's giving off big Christian Bale, Gerard Butler headlining Gods of Egypt energy. So
I'm sorry I missed that.
For that variant, I'm okay with it. Now the thing that you're talking about is that when we get another Kang 15, 20 years from now, it's probably going to be the white guy, right?
And in cartoons and in every iteration, there's no marriage to the black version. So, sorry.
No, I was going to say, even in the Avengers Assemble, the one that's on Disney Plus, the last Avengers cartoon, there's a black. I can't think of the actor. I think it's the guy from Mad TV who voices Kang.
Oh yeah,
not Aries Spears.
He voices a lot of guys.
Yeah,
no. Are you talking about Phil Lamar?
Phil Lamar voices Kang in Avengers Assemble. That the one who did Black Panther's Quest and all of that. He's Kang, and then they made his features, and that came out before this, more Negroidish, if I can say that.
Does that change anything? He's a white guy. When they did Kingpin with Michael Clark Duncan, played the Kingpin in Daredevil's movie, and there was one animated Spider-Man thing that came out also, and Kingpin was black there too. Things returned to white.
This is the point. Your whole point is that there's not an opportunity to perpetuate that character. When you race swap it, there's not an opportunity to have it repurposed as a black character in the comics or in the cartoons or any other iteration.
Yeah. It's not the longevity that Superman has, which is
fine,
iteration after iteration.
But if that's not the case, that's not the case, like John Stewart Green Lantern, right? And they do show him over and over again. They had the Justice League. Now he's getting his own series. What's to say that John doesn't get something else on top of that and they continue it. If
I
they
agree with
are
like the first half of
repurposing
what
it-
you said. The first half of what you said is that Jon Stewart, we do see him over and over again. He was missing from that Ryan Reynolds movie.
But
First of all, okay. So that movie
Ryan
sucked.
Reynolds was
I don't care if it's
That
sucked or
movie
not.
terrible.
was
The
terrible.
idea of we're gonna do a movie called Green Lantern, who do we put behind? John was not selected. We're gonna do a TV series called Green Lantern. John was not selected.
No, but he was though. When they first thought about doing the Green Lantern project, it was Jon Stewart. It was a solo. Then Gunn comes in, he reworks it. Now it's a buddy thing with him and Hal Jordan.
Why are you
But they
starting?
didn't delete-
Why are you starting
they
your
didn't
history,
delete
your
Jon
history
Stewart
of events
in that.
in the year of 2023? When I'm talking about things from the past, like the Super Friends cartoon, they used the
No,
Green
you're
Lantern.
right.
It wasn't
You're
Jon
right.
Stewart.
And that's the point I get. But the only reason why you're able to say that is because over and over again it went periodically non-white character, then straight back to white character, right? If that does not happen for Kang,
You already lost me. If that doesn't happen, I still don't want it. I still don't want
because in the meantime, all you're saying is, well, all these black characters suck, and that's painting with too broad of a brush. Not every race swapped character sucks.
No, but not every race swap character is permanent. And what I would like is for the big characters. You guys remember this thing that I posted now? Sorry to block your faces, but these were my top 30 characters, how I view Marvel treats them. And up top, you got Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk. No matter how many race swaps and stuff happen, Storm is a black character, T'Challa is a black
No,
character.
it's never going to be better. It's never going to be better, but that
It
doesn't
can
mean
be
that
better.
it should be. It's terrible. It's not even something because people like Jon Stewart. People
But
like
here's
Jon Stewart. I cannot say without a shadow of a doubt that Hal Jordan is the most popular Green Lantern, bar none. If
That's
we
the
put
one
up
who
a
gets
poll
featured.
right now about who you favored as Green Lantern, even
No.
given
This isn't an opinion.
how they've been produced,
This is
Jon Stewart
resources.
is going to get a fair amount of that vote.
What? Oh, you're telling me about popularity, and I'm telling you that the studio called DC, called Warner Brothers, have selected Hal Jordan over John on
I've
many
already given
occasions.
you that. I've conceded that point.
That's-
Chill. What I'm
that's
saying
the
is
point.
they tried it and it sucked. Right? So right now, with the Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart,
You're
thing
hoping that
coming
Jon
up.
Stewart, a good outing from John, could make the difference?
Hear
You're
me
saying what
out.
if?
Hear me out.
Wasn't
Hear what I'm
Justice League a
saying.
good
Hear
outing?
me out. Hear me out. If they put it out, right, and it's successful, Jon Stewart already has more success in the live action than Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
If they put it out and it's successful, Jon Stewart right there with that one miniseries is more successful in live action than Hal Jordan. Because you can't even say it's Hal Jordan in this series because he got a whole movie and it didn't do as well as this series. Well, saying that it's successful. So how is it that we can look at that and say, oh, well, the temporary stuff,
Watch it happen.
we have to completely dismiss it, even though we may get successes in the short term.
But okay, Killmonger.
The reason I can do that,
Mhm.
I don't hate to be redundant, but in Justice League, the cartoon that we saw when we were younger, we had 5 straight years of Jon Stewart. He was featured in the Static show, and there was never been a higher profiled Green Lantern on our screens than that version. Jon Stewart was up there, and Hal Jordan was lower than him as far as cartoon wise. 5 straight years, okay?
Right.
They 4 years later, there's a new cartoon called Green Lantern, and they went with Hal. They already did it once, and you think, oh no, what? No, this is the movies. This is different. And I'm looking at it like, no, Jon Stewart is standing next to Hal Jordan in this Lanterns TV series. So even if the DCU does a better Jon Stewart, I'm not falling for it, and I'm not naive. I'm calling you naive when I say that. Sorry, but I'd be more polite.
Well, if you look into Green Lantern is kind of just like with a lot of other characters, even with Kang, because Kang goes back to the 1960s from the Fantastic Four,
and he was white
cartoons, and it was but at that time 90% of the characters, well, 97% of the characters in Marvel Comics were white. You know what I mean? And at that time, so I can kind of understand where you're saying if they go back and look at publication with Hal Jordan. If I'm not mistaken, Hal Jordan was the original Green Lantern. So you gotta tell that
Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner.
No one
Sorry,
cares.
Guy
Alan
Gardner.
Scott.
Guy Gardner.
It was 3 white characters before you even got to the black dude.
Fact.
And the black dude ended up being more popular than Guy Gardner, Hal Jordan, and all these other
Thank
guys.
you.
Wait, in
Thank
Justice
you.
after the Justice League cartoon?
Because the Justice League cartoon,
Yes.
you got to think about the time period the Justice League cartoon came out. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, all you got to say is that comic books have a level of popularity here, and when you put it on a cartoon, that's better.
It elevates.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're getting
Take
a broader
Flash.
audience.
Take
You're getting more
Flash.
eyes.
Yeah.
Same with the Flash.
The Flash and the Justice League
I
animated.
told him Alan Scott. I said Alan Scott. Yeah, they're like Guy Gardner. I'm like, he's not nerds. These are fake.
Excuse me. Guy
I'm not a
Gardner is
DC
the
guy.
best Green Lantern.
We said original.
He's the original and the best. So
Kang should have always been black or Middle Eastern because he's from North Africa. Okay. The issue
Like
is he was
before.
created in a time where everyone in the comics were whitewashed. And because of that, I don't feel like we can rectify that. I feel like I never want black or brown.
Well, I mean, Kang
Is
isn't the original Kang Nathaniel Richards? And all the
Yeah,
other Kangs he does
it's
kind of
Nathaniel
just,
Richards.
Every
They're
Kang is
alternate
Nathaniel Richards. Every
Yeah.
single Kang.
Just
yeah.
different
I mean,
ones with different
he's
timelines.
a white character. I mean,
He's a descendant of Reed Richards. I mean, it's so long though. You know, people can mix. And you can have dark skin. It's fine.
Technically, he was a descendant of Doctor Doom, but then they retconned that too. So
But he's from the future, so when he goes back in time to be in Egypt and his skin tone is light, it's
But
because
look,
he's from the future.
I think the best takeaway from this Kang thing,
Yeah.
I relate it back to the Jim Gordon thing from the Batman. They didn't make these characters about whatever race they are. They just happen to be black actors, even though I would prefer, I would rather Kang just be a white dude because that's what he is. But they took the right approach by just making Jonathan Majors come on here and act, and that's it.
Nope.
That's how it should be.
Because they casted Jonathan Majors, and there's just a few spots there are for black actors, and then there's a little bit of time for black characters in their movie because they don't want to be too white.
I mean, but
Jonathan Majors is
worst thing
taking. Listen. The Kang race swap, because they use a black actor, now fills in that checkbox, and they exist. And there's a certain percentage of white and black that they want to be, and Jonathan Majors playing Kang robs the potential of an actual black character from happening, and that's how I feel about race swaps.
I'm gonna
studio-wide.
challenge you on that. I'm gonna challenge you on that real quick because I agree with your general feeling about race swaps. I don't like them. I wish we could just get the original black characters. So we on the same page about that. Here's where I'm gonna challenge you. So Idris Elba recently came out talking about how he doesn't call himself a black actor. I'm not gonna go all the way through it, but long story short, John Boyega comes out and he addresses him and says, it's not on you to adjust your behavior because people are being gross or people are being racist or people are being narrow-minded. It is
John
not
Boyega
on you
is right.
to change your operation. What's going on, little man? It's not on you to change your operation, your day-to-day, your aspirations, or the things that you like because someone else is putting undue influence onto you. You don't change the way that you operate.
You don't change your speech.
You like because they are giving it in a certain way. It's not on you to adjust the way that you're thinking. You need to force them to change.
This
And
applies.
when you sit up here and say that, oh, I'm not going to take a Jonathan Majors Kang because it's temporary representation, and I know it's not going to perpetuate itself. It's not going to be a black Kang from now until forever. When you do that, you totally dismiss the performance. You dismiss what you I mean, in a way.
But you're missing the second part of it, which is this spot that is taken now affects future actual black characters.
Who is that on? Is that on me?
That's definitely on Marvel Studios. It's definitely
characters? So then put the pressure back on them. It's not you. I don't want any more swapping.
Yeah, it's like you're putting the pressure on the actor.
Say it again.
If I ever said that I'm putting the pressure on the actor,
it just seems like you're putting pressure on the actor.
No. Why? Okay, so I understand why you don't want Black King over Blue Marvel. Why is it such a bad thing to have Black King and Blue Marvel?
You're acting like we can have both.
No, I want both. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not going to tear down Black King because I want Blue Marvel. I want you to give it all
the reality. It's the reality of the situation where
I don't live in their reality. I don't live in the reality of people who think that black characters are only good for quota setters. I don't live in that reality.
You just watched the 31st movie of that reality. You just seen it.
But chill.
Even though you disagree, let me talk to Marcus.
Sure, go ahead.
Like even if you disagree with that,
right?
And we all agree that it is wrong to have only a few black. And actually, if you want to reverse the narrative, which you as a studio for like your 100th year have helped create, and this negative stuff, you would actually be leaning towards we might actually do more black movies than white movies this year. with big budgets. Who'd have thunk that? But that doesn't happen. Now, if they wanted to do that, that's a different scenario. That's a different world we live in. I realize and I see just how few Black resources go to them, and they are wrong for only doing a few, and they are wrong for the limited amount that they give. It's definitely a terrible thing that they're on. What am I watching? Oh, okay, yeah, this character, cool. But like,
oh no, you finish your point with Marcus. I was
as wrong as they are for it. That is the truth, and I will not support it. Just like we don't even support the Black Panther comic, right? And right. I agree with you. I understand why it was doing terrible regression for the character and damaging,
right? And
so you said I'm going to pull my money, and I see it the same way.
Racist, but there's that.
There's that also. Yeah.
But I guess that's fine, right? I just want the pressure to be still tilted towards the studio, because if they take away, they never had Black King, and we got some other originally Black character, right? Is that a win? That's a win. So take one character out, replace it with the character that we prefer. That's a win.
Yeah. If Kang the Conqueror was cast with somebody white.
If we want to see more Black faces, trading one for the other is not a win. That's neutral.
No, it's trading one for an actual Black character is the win. If Kang wasn't played by Jonathan Majors and pick a white actor, I don't know.
Guy Pearce.
You said two names at the same time. What did you say? Tom Cruise? Cool.
Yeah, I just say Tom
Cruise. If Tom Cruise was Kang the Conqueror in this, in Avengers Kang Dynasty, and in Secret Wars, and in the Loki season 2, and that was taken by a white guy, now the studio in all of those movies will go, we're not doing enough Black to make ourselves feel good about it. Let's actually utilize a Black character like Falcon a little bit more. Let's give more scenes to Falcon, or let's cast a Blue Marvel.
You still have the same amount of Black faces on the screen in your top 10 that you had before. It just makes you personally feel better because that's what we want to see.
But the credit, the amount of time and focus that this not Kang Black character will get, if he's an actual Black character and not a race swap.
You think they'll give him more?
They just give him more
attention to the originally Black characters more than they will the race swap ones. Has that been the history of the race swaps, that the characters who are truly Black, right, for the MCU, excuse me, not just for race swaps in general, but for the MCU, is that what they've shown you? That if it's an originally Black character, they have more attention to detail?
That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that more screen time will go to an originally Black character, which will elevate that character and benefit that character more. Or they may, if not more time will go to a Black character that already exists, they'll say, oh, we got to introduce a new Black character. And I'll be like, good. Now the masses have been introduced to, if it's Blue Marvel or whichever one that they use, because they're not using a Black Kang. That these are two great situations. Good situations. One, the audience of the general audience will be introduced to a new Black character, since now Kang the Conqueror is Tom Cruise and they need something Black. Or next best scenario. Oh, sorry. I was like counting my fingers. Or the next scenario is that somebody like Falcon or somebody like an already existing
Monica Rambeau.
Possibly Monica Rambeau gets more attention because, okay, well, we had this much screen time dedicated to Black. And good, Photon is getting more attention.
Feel like we're still trying to divvy out the Black screen time. Instead of bringing in more actors and raising the total amount of Black screen time, we're still talking about, oh, well, they want to limit it, so let's be careful about what we ask for.
That is what I'm saying. That's precisely what I'm saying.
That's BS. I'm never going to acquiesce to someone's malfeasance. I'm not going to acquiesce to your ignorance. If you think that Black representation is boiled down to numbers and quotas, I understand it and I get the realism of it because that's the way they're operating. But at the same time, how do they ever change if you don't adjust the way that you consume the content, or at least ask for it, what you're asking for? How do they change if you don't put the pressure on them to do so?
If everybody rejects the race swaps, that could
okay. So I give you.
What did Jaded Fanboy say?
Well, no, with market, if they do that, then if people do protest and they neglect the race swapping, then by default they're forced to go, well, since we need to have X amount of time for Black characters, instead of as a silly example, we want at least 20 minutes of screen time for black characters in this movie. Now, given it
Somebody's video.
now, Chillmonger's going.
That.
Chillmonger's going. If Disney wants 20 minutes of screen time for black characters, give it to a black character. Don't give it to a race swapped character because then
Marcus is saying that I'm acquiescing to the reality or the structure that they've made.
You're keeping that same 20 minutes. And you're saying, okay, well, if you're only going to give me 20, give it to him instead of him.
Right.
I'm saying, damn, you're 20, give me 40. If it takes,
but Disney's going, we don't have, but Chillmonger's going. The reality is, Disney's not doing it to elevate black characters.
Yes, to that mentality, it will always be that way. Is my
and that's why Chillmonger is saying reject race swapping. That's Chillmonger's way of saying this is us rejecting their mentality.
Go ahead, Dre.
But we actually kind of already seen this and went through this with Tilda Swinton becoming the ancient one. You guys remember that Kevin said that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I had because I race swapped this character. You know what I'm saying? Where I could have gave it to an A. And I know he was trying to play to the demographic of China because China and they got beef. I get that. Even if you would have had, and let's be real, we would have got really pissed if we would have seen Tom Cruise in a damn as Rama Tut. We would have been like, yo, what the? You know it. Know it.
If you'd seen Tom Cruise wearing a Sphinx.
But because I understand the character is from the future and he's Reed Richards' descendant and he moves to the past, then I'm not going to be like, oh, that's an Egyptian. I'm going to say that's a person from the future who's white who went back in time to be amongst the Egyptians.
You know that, but and let's be real. The common person who's coming into a movie theater who's going to go see that character and be like, I don't know nothing about this character. Why the hell is a white dude Rama Tut?
They'd have to explain that it's Reed Richards' kid.
And then they would have, it would have been a fire. Even if they would have explained it, it would have been a fire because you know how Twitter is. You know how social media is. You know, people want to be Cassie Lang and be a warrior and stand up for it. Let's be real. So it would have caused more of a problem than even though, because we're talking about this race swap, and that's not the conversation online right now. They're not talking about, hey, look, they race swapped, Kane the Conqueror for Jonathan Majors. They're just talking about the performance right now of Jonathan Majors. So I can see where Marcus is coming from. I can see where you're coming from. I say it maybe is a win that they did this in this instance because now they're going to say, well, what other characters do you have? Give me more. Maybe we could get, Blue Marvel coming. Maybe we could get more. Even the cover.
But that's not what's happening.
But wait
They're
a minute,
doing more race swaps. Wonder Man, Sentry. That is not translating.
What you said, though, right? If people reject the race swaps, then we'll get less of it. They clearly rejected the race swap of the Ancient One, right? Because he knew the backlash that he got from that. Said that he learned it, and then we got Wonder Man and Kang. So what is it? What are they learning? He came out and spoke publicly about backlash that he got from race swapping, and then he's giving us Wonder Man. So what is the amount of vitriol they're going to need to get before they totally swap? That's what I'm saying. Trying to play on their playground is you play goofy games, you get goofy prizes. And trying to play in that by their logic or by what they see as representation isn't going to get us what we want ultimately. I don't think that telling them to swap or to entertain.
Yo, you know how right you are? There's not, because I was gonna say, oh, that's why you got to pay a lot of money to see the Black movie. Well, $1.3 billion in Black Panther 1 that did not keep
it's not just the data; it's how they interpret it, what they take from it,
how they choose to
interpret.
Yeah,
it.
And so even if
it's not so much of saying, man, if I rail against these race swaps, then they'll give me what I want, because you're still playing on their playground, and they will still try to give you what you want, but our way, i.e. to child.
Yeah, and even I had so much backlash when I did my Wonder Man video because it was like, well, in the Ultimate Comics, he's black. I'm like, a little darker, maybe he got some soul glow in his hair, but he still look white to me. It's just You know what I mean? So you
These concepts.
man, let me shut up.
We're very late on these comments, so I want to
Sorry.
respect everyone who wrote stuff. You can't argue that racial bias exists in Hollywood. It exists all over this country. Your country. I'm kidding. In every nook and cranny. Why
More
wouldn't
in
it
your
be there
country
too?
than in our country.
We say that to ourselves, but like
No, I know,
we're
I
very
know, I
influenced
know,
by everything
believe
they
me.
watch also.
We got a lot of old Europeans. So
Oh, do you remember when the Ukrainians were receiving aid from people and everyone got a message that said, like, if you're black, just beware. They're not really familiar with you guys, so you may be subjected to things that are derogatory. There was like a lot of volunteers who were getting that, and they're like, oh, I guess, all right. Okay, Hollywood can change that, basically. It's because DC wanted to attempt at making Hal popular again. I don't want to do the Jon Stewart. Let's get back to... See, I told you it was a long time ago.
Well, that's because you let it ride for so long.
Guess y'all won't be done in 2 hours. Maybe, but it's the right casting.
So if you can share my screen, I just want to say one thing real quick, just a short thing. This was the worst sin of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like Jonathan as Kang, yes, they race swapped him, but at least he got a good and dope character to play as. This guy got the worst of it, and he's a new up and coming actor.
How did he get the worst of it?
You remember the character? He played a character. He played
he was the telepath.
I mean, the movie was called Ant-Man, though. Like, I don't expect other people to be important.
But like, all right, no. But think about it in the long run. He's going to be stuck as that character for a couple years in this MCU.
He's not coming back.
He can grow.
We're not going to see him again.
Grow as a character.
Grow as a telepath. But he is
a this is the multiverse, so they can bring it back as anybody else, other character, because we are in the multiverse saga. So I don't think he'd just be stuck at this character if they feel like he's going to be elevated to another performance in the future.
Yeah, I mean, his role could be more important in future stories.
Still in to play Mr. Terrific or something. You better get that, man.
Race swapping white to black for a good guy seems just as bad, regardless of the nature of the representation. It's still weird to race swap. I think I get it. Cornelius says, though we need Sam to work, regardless of how we feel about Mackie.
In the movie. He didn't do nothing.
I don't have a lot of faith in that one, but
I'll give Blan. But
yeah, because chill. The guy just showed he was only there for a comedic. He was just there to be the comedic character.
So was the Blob.
So yeah, but he was that's the 10th character on the casting. I just don't even want to pay attention.
The Blob was played by a voice actor. I mean, anybody could play the Blob. That actor literally got wasted on a.
But look at the level we're discussing. We're talking about Jon Stewart, who's like, up there, along with Kang, who's gonna have a movie named after him. You're telling me about this character? Like, that's not.
No, I'm talking about the actor.
The actor may be good, fine.
And this is a new up and coming actor. This isn't like no.
Yeah, when they were talking about
like we barely got any of these good like.
Well, he's got to start somewhere, K-Dot. I mean, you don't start him off as a
starting shit.
Giancarlo playing Professor X.
Look at where Chadwick Boseman was at. He barely did anything before Black Panther. Not saying he didn't do nothing.
42.
His resume was not that thick.
42. Get on up.
42.
He was actually in that Gods of Egypt movie I was talking about.
Thurgood Marshall,
which was a bad movie.
Thurgood Marshall.
Wait, did Gods of Egypt come out before? It was 2014.
Yeah, right? That was like 2012.
Now he went from Get On Up, 42,
Lawrence
Gods of Egypt, and then Black Panther.
And Lawrence Fishburne started off on Pee-wee's Playhouse. I mean, come on.
I mean, I seen me, Cornbread, Earl,
but Lawrence Fishburne has a much thicker career.
Listen, I don't care about this actor.
He's got to start
Back
somewhere.
to this comment, when Giancarlo plays Professor X, should this happen, and then I'm gonna notice, they don't gotta dedicate that much time to Storm anymore. It's the system that is warped and wrong, but that's how I'm gonna see it as, and it's wrong on Marvel for that. But I also know that if I celebrate race swaps and I don't speak out against it, I don't make videos in terms like temporary representation. I don't need you to
separate. I don't need you to celebrate them because I don't celebrate them. But it's just a realization.
He got wasted. This dude been around since 2000.
Can he finish his point?
Yeah. I would say I don't need you to celebrate them because I don't celebrate them. I still realize them for what they are, and we agree on that. It's just that the ask back to the studio shouldn't be, okay, take that off, put this in, I'm good, I'm gonna walk away. say exactly what it is that you want, because that leaves open a lot for interpretation. If it's just simply enough to cut this one and add that one, they will do that 10 times out of 10 because it still fits the number game that they're playing. I want it all. If you want all the characters to be black, I'm here for anything that represents me, right? Like that it's a black thing, Jaded.
No, I'm just saying I need the Silver Surfer to be silver. That's all I'm saying.
not sure.
I don't care about anybody else, but I need the Silver Surfer to be silver.
Within reason. But my thing is, if we're trying to get more black faces on screen, then that should be the goal.
But that isn't the goal. The goal isn't just to have the face.
That includes all of it.
To me, the goal isn't just the face. I'm looking at it as it's got to be the face, but it's also got to have the longevity factor of it, and the race swap thing don't have it.
Absolutely, I agree.
I'll give Black Kang a pass. I haven't seen the movie yet, but the Ant-Man movie looks good in my opinion. Race swapping is a version of temporary representation, right? Hey, that's in my opinion. That is. And then there's the voice acting one where, it's temporary. You get to hear their voices, but it's somebody like a fireball or a water will be in the Disney Pixar Elemental movie. So it's temporary. We got the genie. You got the Princess and the Frog where you transform your body into somebody that you're not. We have so many temporary is just the good catch-all word in which I like to use. And I hope that it catches fire, but not enough people have viewed that YouTube short.
No,
but that's okay.
So chill.
Many people on my YouTube short that I did like a month ago, 2 months ago, didn't watch it at first. And then something happened where YouTube just said, now we're pushing this guy. And it went up. So it may happen again. Right?
So chill. Would a solution would be like literally, I just went to Twitter. Kang is still trending. If they just say, you know what, going forward from the comics, everything, we're going to change this character to look kind of like what they did in the Ultimate Universe with Nick Fury being Sam Jackson. From here on forward, Kang's going to be black. And he's
That's
gonna
not
look
what
like
they did, though.
The
regular Nick Fury.
No. What I'm saying is would you want that as a solution going forward?
No change.
They change it all in the comics.
Nope.
Change it all in other publications.
But see, that now that just seems belligerent because it
black characters exist.
The point that you're making. If the point is that they're not going to do it, but now I'm presenting you the perfect situation.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
That's a dream scenario.
Let me tell you the problem when you do that. When you take a black character or a white character and you now make them black comic book wise. When you do that, black representation just came at the expense of something white. Is that right or is that wrong? Shouldn't you just have black characters elevated? That's one thing. Now think about the damages. Think about the evil people who will have a calling to their audiences. Can you see this? All these black people, they're stomping on your white. They're trying to erase your whiteness. It's wrong to be white. Come watch my YouTube channel where I have these questionable opinions. I don't want to fuel that sector of YouTube.
Yeah, but they'll find their own way, Cho.
But the ways that they find will not have to be legitimate. This would be a legitimate call. Look, we're being erased. And what am I going to say? They are being.
It's legitimate to change. Like so changing the race of a comic book character would be depriving white people of representation in comic books.
For that one character, it would be definitely doing
come on, man. We're going against our point here. The point is that comic books are predominantly white, right? So there is no scenario where I can reasonably wrap my mind around a white person feeling underrepresented because one comic book character is now black. That seems absolutely asinine to me.
Well, if you word it that way, a white guy would feel underrepresented, which is nothing I've ever said this whole time.
No. But that's what it goes into, right? Those guys who are going to be ranting and raving, they're trying to erase me. Those guys, right? We all know what we're talking about. You're saying that their argument is valid because one character is being changed. But the thing in comparison,
like Sam Wilson being Captain America.
Sam Wilson.
I'm talking about literally changing the race. Literally
changing.
Oh, okay.
My thing is that we don't have enough characters that get pushed that look like us. Virtually all of the characters that get pushed look like that group of people. So it is asinine for them
to me. Just point to me.
No, we good.
And Marcus, that's why I say
it doesn't line up the same way. It doesn't even make sense. You can't point to one character and say, "Oh, now I'm being erased." I can show you publication after publication after publication of white males in comics. So when you say that one race swap character, oh, it's legitimate for them now to say that they're being, no, it's not. No, it's not, because every other book you pick up is representative of you. I can't say
but
that.
character
So
is
when you
erased.
cut one of my characters,
And I say all it takes
feels
is one. If we look at the Little Mermaid, there's probably a 10-year-old girl right now who loves Ariel, probably has red hair just like her, and she's like, that's her girl. She sees that trailer and it looks like Halle Bailey, and she's like, well, part of the reason why I liked this character was they matched my like features, and it's more than just skin tone, but the features and everything. Now, when she gets this, do I need that white girl who's young and maybe can't really put things together and understanding, but to have some sort of distaste for someone who has the appearance of Halle Bailey? I don't need that registering there. That scenario, that has nothing to do with the hateful people. That's just something that's going to happen where you're just, oh, it used to be me, now it's not me. I now have some sort of hatred.
So those girls are the same age, right? The girl who saw it for the first time and it feels represented by Halle Bailey, and the white girl who saw it who doesn't feel as represented. They're the same age, right? So this is her first time seeing Ariel too. Why can't she feel? Why? Okay. So if we expect Black children to see Ariel as in her original film, to see that and somehow connect to it, why is it so hard to ask those same white children to connect to a Black Ariel?
Yeah, because it's like
Especially
it's that version of Ariel. It's this version
What's
because
so
the
wrong
anime
about asking, who's being introduced to a character. So this is her first time ever seeing it. She knows nothing about the '89 cartoon. Why is it such a hard thing to ask that white child to find a connection with this Black character, the same way people asking Black children to find connections with white characters this entire time?
I'm good with asking for white children to make connections with Black characters. That is I'm okay with. Now, when it comes with the race swap, Disney now, we're doing enough Black. We're doing a Black-led movie. Halle Bailey is the lead of it. That now satisfies our Black for
so
this.
we don't have to have
I get that.
We could have had live action Proud Family featuring Halle Bailey.
No.
Well, that's one of the reasons why. And the asking white kids to fall in love with Black characters, cool. They're not falling in love with a Black Ariel or Black character. They're falling in love with Ariel, who will be Black this time. And we know, I hope we all know,
it's
going to be somebody white again.
Have the full context of it. That doesn't apply to someone, like you said, who's watching this for the very first time. It only becomes an issue when you switch back for that person.
Yeah. But Marcus,
and it's happening.
I think what Chillmonger is saying is that because we have a Black Ariel, we don't have to have a live action Princess and the Frog now.
Oh, that's coming, and I'm sure it's coming. Like Lilo and Stitch is getting remade, and that's a movie from like 04. So it's next.
But I think that's Chillmonger's point. That
I take the point.
But you're saying the emotion that these girls who are Black who are feeling after watching Ariel with Halle Bailey's depiction, that's a good feeling, and that's nice of them. And you think I'm trying to rob them of that? No, I think that they'll feel that way when Disney makes an original princess who's Black and gives it the same budget that they gave for Little Mermaid, and actually move things forward. That's the way they'll feel. But the problem is now the studio isn't doing that. I'm actually kind of on your side of the talk when it was Kang about how we should be mad at the studio. I am mad at the studio for.
Yeah. It's just, look, be careful about how much grace you give these studios for the things that they do, right? Be conscious of how you are interacting with them and what you're asking for, because they are not the good guys in this. Right? We shouldn't have to be thinking about, oh man, well there's going to be the alt-right MCU reviewers are going to rage about. To hell with them. We know what their deal is, and we shouldn't be making content to acquiesce to them or to move around them or to make it more suitable for them in any way, shape, or form.
I'm saying make content that doesn't fuel the hate monster, bigoted people who all you got to do is one little decision.
They'll make it up.
They'll make it up and have them make content that is made up, not with legitimate.
You'll never get off that hamster wheel, man. You will never get off that hamster wheel.
But see, Chill, I literally did the video about them going off about a panel of the Joker being pregnant because Zatanna did that. as a, you know what I'm saying?
It's a joke. It's
and
a
it was
joke
a joke.
story.
And what
They made it seem like it was canon, like it was legit. Yeah.
And what people did, because this is what people do now, they clickbait is all about clickbait, like
Fake outrage.
They made fake outrage, and they made fake outrage for this crap, and it didn't matter into anything. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have that, even if you have a certain group or a certain demographic of people that's going to be like, look what they did. I can't believe they did this to our character, Rama Tut. Or
Obi-Wan Kenobi. They made everything about Moses Ingram and nothing about what they were doing to the lore, what they were doing to the Star Wars canon, New Hope, all of that stuff. They made everything about Moses Ingram as if she was the ire of the entire show.
Or M.O.D.O.K. Everybody's complaining about the fact that M.O.D.O.K's face is smooth as opposed to wrinkly. But nobody's complaining that M.O.D.O.K was created by Kang, not AIM. They're not complaining that M.O.D.O.K is what was his Darren Cross. Why?
Yeah.
Because nobody put a picture online to let them know that the knowledge of these fake comic book fanboys is based solely on whatever image they saw on Twitter or on YouTube. Because they know. I'm trying not to swear. Sorry. They know jack about the comic books. So it's just like, oh, wait a minute. The same thing. I hate the segue, but it's the same thing with the Dungeons and Dragons thing. You have hundreds of people who who literally admit, I know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons. But guess what? Bitching about the open gaming license is going to get me views, so I'm going to do it. Same thing with Ariel. Same thing with race swapping. Same thing with M.O.D.O.K. Whatever fake outrage gets them views, that's all they care about. Sorry, I didn't mean to rant, but
is J-Dot still here?
Yeah, he's here. We're done with the questions, by the way. Look, we're 2 hours 26 minutes.
Questions?
All right. Wait. All right. So that actor William Harper been here since 2007. They gave him that.
The movie was called Ant-Man. The villain was taken. The sidekick was taken. Like you're really looking at these.
Michelle Pfeiffer's role was way too much. Why was there so much Michelle Pfeiffer in that?
Well, there is supporting characters in so many, like The Last of Us, right? Remember?
Absolutely, Cornelius.
I don't know characters. Not their names, but the Henry and.
You talking about Bill and Frank?
Not Bill and Frank.
You talking about Henry? You talking about Henry and
his little brother?
Yeah.
Those is good roles.
But again, we're dealing with a multiverse, and we've already seen a character play two different people in the MCU. Old girl who played the Kree soldier, and
she plays Cersei.
And she plays Cersei.
Really?
Yeah, and there was a rumor that they were going to have that actor go after and be the new Reed Richards because they like the way his character is, and then that kind of got pulled back a little bit. So we never know with when he's going to pop up again as another character. So, and he was amazing.
We're going to ask one more question because it only flies for this week. Okay, it wouldn't be weird if I asked it for next week. So this is it. You're watching 33 Burning Questions, Chillmonger. You're watching 33 Burning Questions, Chillmonger, the Jaded Fanboy, Back of the Bus, The Dre Mac Show, SSJK. Sanctum. Why is Captain Marvel 2 being delayed? That movie was supposed to be in July. It's already been delayed once before, and a lot of the precautions and lockdowns and whatnot.
Because Flash is going to destroy it.
Hey, guys,
I don't because nobody's interested in a woman-led comic book movie. That's why.
Okay,
guys, stop. We got to talk this through.
Okay, because chill. Hear me out. During the summer, nobody wanted to hear Brie Larson complaining about white dudes and stuff again. I don't want to hear her complain about white dudes during the summer. So she can do it during November. No, I don't even want to hear that shit during November. That's the
What time would you like to hear Brie Larson about white men? Go ahead. Tell me. Let me know.
Probably April. That's a dead month.
April. I can just imagine K-Dot has a schedule. Okay, bitching about black people. Come on. Bitching about white people. No.
I don't want to hear
about gay people. February.
But it looks like they probably just delayed it because I mean, look at Flash comes out in June. The Marvel, it's
do with the Flash.
close. It's too close. They got to get out the Flash way.
I don't even think it has anything to do with even DC. I believe Iger is really like, let's let this thing marinate again. You know what I mean? Let's let it marinate. Let people go to the movie because after this, we got Secret Invasion, then we got Guardians. Let these movies marinate again. Because again, as a fan, I remember we're seeing Infinity War, and I had to wait a whole damn year just to go see Endgame. It marinated. I got it. The anticipation got better. I don't think it has anything to do with DC. Iger is like, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's do what we did best to get these fans here. Let's go back to that and let these things kind of marinate for a little bit to get fans more excited.
Nico says that they're trying to introduce the Blue Marvel. Now, if they are indeed moving the movie just so that they have enough time to introduce new characters and stuff, they got to work on the CGI for that character and that powers. It makes sense to me for why things would be moved. I remember that when Henry Cavill was supposed to be added to Black Adam, things were moved there. There's a history of this. There's probably there's going to be changes to this film. We know that they had some sort of like meeting during the Christmas break to reshuffle things that they were up to. So there are going to be changes made to Captain Marvel 2. And that is why it's not going to happen in July. And it'll happen in November where they have enough time to get things right. The Bob Iger thing of now we're going to spread things apart. Now that's our mentality. Maybe they realize maybe things will sell more if they miss these Marvel movies rather than 3 months apart for this. Like this, 3 months apart, eh? We had Multiverse of Madness in May. July had Thor. November had Black Panther 2. I guess more than 3 months. But then it goes to
every couple of months.
Guardians. Yeah. Take a little bit of a break. We haven't seen the trailer for Captain Marvel 2, so it won't be awkward the way that Black Widow. We had the trailer, and then we had the final trailer, and then they said final trailer after next.
Final trailer part 2.
So to piggyback off of what Dre Mack was saying about Iger and his restructure, I definitely think that's more so of the thinking. I think he might have been forced into that as well as it aligning with his thinking on how to reduce. What up, Perp? Right.
Yeah, I was just listening to the whole show when I figured I'd pop in it this time.
You want to tell us that they're scared of Blue Beetle?
No, but I honestly think
I think it's expensive to promote these films. I think it's getting increasingly more expensive to market and produce these films. Where they were just doing 4 in a year and they lost well over $100 billion. I think it's time to maybe slow drip this stuff.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, bolster, let it marinate, let people sit with it longer so the anticipation builds. It aligns with what they need and what they want.
Right.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's simply that they want to put Secret Invasions first. That's gonna lead right into the Marvels.
Why do they decide that now?
Yeah, at the last.
I don't know because it was. I don't know because I figured Secret Invasion was going to come out before the Marvels, but and we still got the X-Men too, so they probably want to put those 2 out before just like kind of.
So Rogue will be in Captain Marvel 2, and she's gonna take her powers.
I don't know.
No, you said the X-Men.
No, I'm talking about the 97. I was talking about the 97 series, the animated series. Like they probably want a lot of those other shows, and like the Marvel Zombies, like those will fill in that little gap between
that was rumored though. The whole
Guardians.
Rogue arc with Carol Danvers was rumored to be what was going to be Captain Marvel 2.
And it's wanted by every fan who's read comic books. When I think about the marketing, and it's expensive to market, not if your channel plays football games and you own ESPN and ABC and all that.
That's a good
point.
There
are no football games in July. There are in November.
Thank you.
That might be a lot to do with it.
Yeah. At the same time, they don't have to spend that much money on marketing. It's the Marvel Universe. We all know the movie exists. You don't have to sell it to us.
But that goes back to that word of mouth and that Marvel shit we were talking about. It's not what it used to be. You know,
Yeah.
you can't just stamp the Marvel like Kevin
But-
Feige said. Just get close to the comic books.
But not. But that is true because it's like people say Marvel fatigue, but people are still packing these theaters. So
There's
it's
a
like,
lot of fans. There's a lot of fans. You put the Marvel logo in the beginning of the movie, minimum 7 out of 10. That's it, minimum.
because it's like if
it's just not what it was in 2018.
Well, no,
because-
not 2018.
because like regardless of how people feel about like Phase 4 or whatever, like coming in, like people are still going to check it out regardless.
Yeah.
The same can't be said about DC right now because DC is kind of like people are like really wishy-washy with it.
Yeah.
But it's like I just don't think there is. I think people are getting kind of tired of the Marvel formula, but they're not getting tired of going to see a Marvel movie or watch a show. I don't think that's ever happened yet.
Yeah, it's relative. They're not DC level shit, but excuse me, sorry, but they are not what they were at their peak. They have shown a regression, right? And they've given up market share. They absolutely have. Whether it's to Amazon or Netflix or whoever, they've given up a bit of that market. So it's not what it used to be. They can't just lean on it.
I also think that we also as fans play a part in it as well. It's like I think people are also impatient because like I think people are always expecting Endgame, Avengers level type of like movies or TV shows every time, and that's not just what we're going to get every time. Like it's going to have to build up.
Right, and expectations is one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't like Multiverse of Madness because they had this expectation that all these people, Wolverine was gonna come out, and then Cyclops, and all of that didn't happen. It was like, you suck. You know what I mean? So it's really expectations. That's on the fans. You want to
part of that though is also the concepts that you're doing. You start telling people you're dealing with multiverses and variants and timelines.
Right.
They expect bigger and better.
And Mark,
it's a give and take. What you give them is what they're going to expect.
And Mark, bringing it back to Ant-Man, like with the titles and stuff. At least we got a lot of Quantum and a lot of Mania. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More so than like Multiverse of Madness, where we just went to like one other universe.
Exactly. Exactly.
But the reason
be bouncing.
The reason there's so many high expectations is because a big cottage industry is people making, here's my theory of what should happen, or here's my theory of what could happen. So now all of a sudden a person, instead of nobody had expectations for Iron Man 2 because there wasn't 10,000 videos going, here's my expectations of what should happen or what the villain should do or who the villain should be. So now you got fans who go into these movies and going, well, according to what I've been told, this should be in this should be here. This should be here.
Even that is a circumstance of your size. You don't have that without it being insanely popular. You know, you've created like a sub economy based off of what you create. You don't get that unless you are insanely popular.
Cornelius adds that Secret Invasion went through months of reshoots too. Didn't know that. Then there may be a reason, and things will be better. Because the only reason you would reshoot one and reshoot the other is because there's going to be attachment, which has been missing in Phase 4.
Yeah, but didn't the first Suicide Squad movie go through a lot of reshoots too?
Everything goes through reshoots.
Everything
goes through reshoots.
But like extensive reshoots, from the way Cornelius says so, it sounds like there was additional reshooting. Then he said something about Den of Nerds and New Rockstars. Channels I would say subscribe and like because I don't mention other people on my channel unless it's to say nice things. Usually. There's the odd moment you might catch me slip up, but I'm not about that.
That's what the rest of us are for. That's what the rest of us
are for.
Because we have no problem mentioning names.
I'll hold my...
I'm sorry, what?
Like a certain person from New Rockstars, I don't mind mentioning his name, but he should not be named right now.
Like, he who shall not be named.
Yeah, that's who he is.
Oh, are we done? Are you finished? Are you done?
You done?
Are you done? Are you done?
Is there one more question?
One more question. Come on. It's supposed to be 33 questions. It's in the title.
I skipped like 7 questions.
Yeah, but at least give us 33. At least give us 33.
Well, if you guys want to read, let's read what Tony says. He says the audience has been spoiled with eye candy and their attention span is so short that they can't just sit with a story.
Yeah, that's part of it. There's more to it, but I'll get into that.
Yeah, that's a part of it. The stories haven't been all that great either. So it's like,
Yeah, and it's only a few movies that good stories that just catch people nowadays.
Black Comic Lords is right on that too.
Yeah.
Hey, I just get excited for I just excited for new movies. Like I'm just happy that we're just getting movies. Like where at a time with like I think 20 years ago we would never thought we were getting like all these Avengers movies and Justice League, a Flash movie. Like that's crazy.
I know exactly what you mean. That's right. Every Marvel movies don't get pushed back for just reshoots though. Every movie has reshoots. Every movie don't get pushed, and that's what I mean. Like it must be a significant amount of.
Yeah, I mean, it's look at it like this, right? For one, if I was dropping the Marvels and I'm going off the first movie, the drama with Brie Larson and stuff, not saying it's going to hurt the movie. It might make a little bit over 800 million.
It was 5 years ago. Like people need to get over that Brie Larson shit. Like she hasn't said shit since. If the Marvels hits $1 billion again, bro, people cannot say shit, bro.
Yo,
Don't say shit.
They're ugly bastards, aren't they?
Don't say shit again. Like
what I'm saying is there's so many factors to it. Is Brie Larson saying her nonsense? There's still people that's kind of iffy about her. The movie would have released right near the Flash, which is like, why would you do that? Yes, you're Marvel, but it's like you want to take that risk.
Ezra Miller's girlfriend.
Like, do you want to take that risk? Because look at the marketing that movie just had with the Super Bowl. Look how it just got pushed with the Super Bowl.
Also keep in mind that June is packed. June's got the Flash, they got the Into the Spider-Verse, and they got a Transformers movie. So yeah, you definitely should just move away from just all of that.
Well, then don't announce a movie in June if you knew that stuff was coming. If they knew, maybe they didn't know. Yeah,
they probably didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't know because they booked these so in advance.
Nah,
But
they
guys,
knew. I just don't know the real reason of why they just pushed it now all of a sudden. Because this ain't the first time.
You don't know the reason why? I
don't know the exact because it was they did this recently with another Marvel movie where they
Blade.
No, not Blade.
Originally, we were supposed to get the Marvels. I think with Ant-Man's Day, but then they switched it around.
Yeah, or I think I think I might just be remembering when they abruptly did that slate change again. Remember the abrupt slate change that happened like last year?
Yeah, when Doctor Strange was supposed to be March, it goes to May.
Right, when they had that abrupt slate change all of a sudden.
Thor 11 Thunder was supposed to be July, it ended up being what?
No,
October.
May. It went to July.
May and July.
Yeah.
How do you remember this?
But I think it's because you got so many movies come out in June, and like you don't want to put that at the tail end because Flash ain't just gonna be in theaters for like
we technically should have been at like phase 6 already. Like if everything was on like schedule, like we were supposed to be like closer to the Avengers movie.
You mean with the lockdowns? I think.
Yeah, if the lockdowns didn't happen, because like we were supposed to get Captain. Yeah, but
Black Panther 2 was supposed to be in May of 2022, not in November. We'd have already seen that, and so I guess we'd have already seen Ant-Man by now, and we've already seen
the Marvels.
Guardians. If James Gunn hadn't have been fired, his movie would have happened before Black Widow would have happened. It was already going to be there.
There's an alternate universe where like none of that pandemic stuff. So like that's
there's an alternate universe. There's an alternate universe where MCU movies are good.
There's a plethora of reasons, probably. Yes, it was pushed back, not twice. All right, you want one more last question?
Yes, 33 questions.
One more, gotta do 33.
What do you take away from the post-credit scene of Quantumania? So I'm not just talking about the end credit, the one with Kang and all the different versions. After those credits, it was a scene from Loki, and Chillmonger says that's because whatever you were gonna put, you changed your mind. So you're like, oh, let's just give them a clip from the show we already filmed. Here, guys, enjoy it.
I don't believe that.
Well, they did it for Wakanda Forever. They pulled the original scene there.
Dr. Doom scene.
They cut out the Doctor Doom scene for the Loki scene.
The Fantastic Four were probably going to be in this one too, and things are being reshuffled.
I was thinking Fantastic Four for sure.
Well, since we got Victor Timely and Kang actually went into his time, the time energy portal, the machine, the MacGuffin, basically, was a way for him to travel in time. So this is just a theory. I could be completely wrong. I think he went back in time when he got sucked into that machine.
Yeah,
and then
yeah, that's what I
that Victor Timely is Kang.
Kang
is Kang. And that's why Loki was like, "Oh snap!"
That's why he was tripping. Like, yeah.
Because think about, because think about like at the end of Loki, like the statue looks just like that Kang that we seen in Quantumania and stuff. Like he got the same suit.
Kang.
It was the same as the exiled one in Quantumania?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Conqueror Kang's suit.
Yeah.
And you already know the number one rule of movies, like if you don't see the body, he ain't dead. So it's like
No, that's the number one rule in comics.
You know, in anything on TV.
Usually, yeah. If you don't see the body, they ain't dead.
Oh, okay. I just
remember
know that from comics.
In Prison Break at the finale, some dude I thought died in season 1 was back all of a sudden. One of the cops.
You mean like how Kang was killed by the ants but still survived?
Oh,
Something
Lord
like
Jesus.
that.
I thought that part was funny. I'm the only person dying laughing at that part.
Oh, I was laughing.
That was a great part.
So
Like I just remember in my head, they're like, okay, this is the new Thanos, and he's getting dogpiled by ants.
That's why.
But you got to know who's doing that though. That's the OG Ant-Man. That shit was dope, man. That was dope, bro.
They would let my man Hank put on the suit. That's what I wish they would let him do. Everybody fight. They even had Michelle Pfeiffer's elderly self out there sliding around. She doing jump kits, cutting off arms. My boy Hank,
but he was posing.
His arms in the ooze, driving the plane.
That's why Marcus.
At the end of the movie, when the ants were there, he was just posing and strutting and going, "Yeah, that's right. I'm bad. I'm bad. This is me."
I think he much would have wanted to get in the suit and actually kick some ass. That's
why.
why.
And that's why I never understood the reason they never put Hank Pym in Avengers 2 because they had rights to that character. He could have been the first Ant-Man. Like it was no reason why he should have not been the first Ant-Man.
But honestly, having Michael Douglas, especially following Michael Douglas' career for all these many years, have him grizzly old Hank Pym that doesn't give a crap is perfect. It's literally perfect. So I'm not mad at it.
They did more with some of their elder statesmen, actors like Lawrence Fishburne, Michael Douglas. They had Glenn Close. They've had Anwar Candy. They had Forrest Whitaker. They're just not doing it. They had Bill Murray in the movie for 5 minutes. They had
but that was awesome though. But that was awesome though. You cannot say that wasn't awesome.
The Bill Murray part.
The Bill Murray part was awesome.
They did they're gone.
Never come back.
They did the Bill Murray thing because of what happened with Grandmaster in the Thor movie. They went, "Hey, let's replicate that character, that goofy character."
But I like that he didn't. Well, they could have honestly traded the whole Freedom Fighters thing and give us more Bill Murray thing. I wouldn't have been mad about that. But I wasn't mad about his
tidbits. It was hard to focus on any one thing.
But it's also because Bill Murray had whatever thing he had going on.
It was funny. It was amusing. For sure.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about in real life. So they're probably not trying to get. He has some kind of allegation or something going on prior to. So I don't think they were trying to give him. And plus, the character he was playing literally is a panel character. If you understand what I mean by that, he was a panel character. Yeah. So it was
why he dies at the end.
Yeah, I mean the guy dies in the comics anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
I definitely understand why they have spending problems because I know that didn't come cheap.
No.
So I definitely get it.
Not Bill.
That was question 33 about what you took away from the post-credit scene. We barely talked about it.
Council of Rick,
nothing to be quite honest.
To comment on it though, does it make you even a little bit more interested for Loki season 2?
Yeah, most definitely because I was like, we're actually gonna get a story here. And not a bunch of just walking and talking. Because all Loki was up until Kang was introduced was just a lot of walking and talking.
You mean
that's all it was?
You mean character development?
The last half hour of the last episode of the last.
That was the.
Well, I'll just say this: I'm excited to see Jonathan Majors play different Kangs. I'm just not excited for the Conqueror, who's supposed to be the main king that we follow. Not him specifically.
How you what?
You mean a king? You mean a king that has the power to manipulate time and space, but doesn't actually manipulate time and space? You mean that character?
I was definitely expecting him to freeze time at some point.
But
I
it's
was
tech.
expecting it.
He only did it once with Janet when he stopped her so he can walk through the door.
Was
and
he
I like,
freezing time?
He
or
did
was
that to that chick
freezing-
with the spear too. He did that shit with the chick with the spear too.
Yeah.
Like he stopped that
Was
and
that
like he was
freezing
about to.
time, or was
No,
it
he did.
telekinesis?
It was telekinesis. He wasn't freezing time because after that, and his tech got broke, he couldn't do
Yeah.
any of that.
Okay,
and
yeah.
he was this regular guy after
That's what I
that. So
thought.
Technically, he did bend space because he teleported into the room where the portal was.
the portal, yeah. But
Which
all-
doesn't make any sense because when the ants were attacking his shield, if you can put,
Why didn't you just
teleport,
leave?
why didn't you just teleport? Well, then he wouldn't have been defeated by ants. And then
just personally for me, I think Kang should have just straight up offed Scott Lang.
I
The
thought
rest
he
of
should
the
have
way,
died.
if he gets
I thought
trapped,
he
and
Yeah.
also
But he said I needed you, but he should have killed him right after like you know saying
He-
he
he-
Kang should have got a body on. Because if this our first and him getting beat up by the, because look, I'm like this.
can get beat up though, man. He just got dragged away.
This
Like
Yeah.
he really just got dragged away.
this specific Kang has fought many Thors, many X-Men, many he fought. Now, Thor would have easily one-shotted all them ants. You're telling me this guy killed many Thors? No.
He lost to Janet. And
Well, we
Scott
also got
in
we also got to
hand-to-hand
keep in mind that he's not at his full power.
His full power. Thank you.
No. He
I'm
got
talking
his
about-
armor back, and he had enough power to be able to establish the technology necessary to create the empire. If he may not what his full power is, the movie is vague in what that is. That's the problem.
But that's good because remember, we got introduced to Darth Vader in episode 4.
Right.
I mean, even that was when we go to Empire Strikes Back, that's when he's like really at his full power.
But
and
you don't see
Yeah,
Vader
but that's
not
bested,
fair.
and
To
you
that.
don't see him bested early by
Yeah.
a lower.
That's not fair.
competitor.
But
because
you
George
do
Lucas
when
didn't
they're doing the TIE fighter when they're doing the TIE fighter scene in Star Wars. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So you do see him get kind of bested in Star Wars, the original movie. It's Empire Strikes Back. It was like, damn, he's dope. Just like how you do in the Revenge of the Sith. We got. I mean, I ain't even mentioned the first one.
Yeah.
The second one, you know what I'm saying? You start to build the character, and
Right.
then you make them just as dope as possible in that later movie. So
I
give him the
agree.
intro-
33 Burning Star Wars Questions is happening next week.
So I'm just saying, give it some time. Pun included.
I agree. I agree. I'm just saying is that don't leave it vague so that we can go, well, wait a minute, does he or doesn't he have his full powers? Then how
So it
does
makes
he
sense
get his
that he's
full
getting
power?
his ass kicked by an ant.
Right. He's powerful enough to like the rebels are coming out.
I don't think, but the fact that
than everybody, but then
but the fact that he could just like when he's fighting Ant-Man, wow, he could just literally just see them without even like really looking at them and shit. Like that's like he displayed a crazy amount of power. Just what he's capable of doing now. Like
all he had
it's
to
pretty
do was levitate. Like, can you not like levitate and just go above
But
the
it
ants?
was-
I think the
Overwhelming
hand-to-hand
force.
losing to Janet and Scott was more disappointing to me than the ant thing. I guess you can conceivably say that he was getting overwhelmed. with the ant.
Overwhelmed.
I mean, even
Overwhelmed.
Scott Lang and them, like even
Yeah, when they were
Man,
throwing
I was
hands
like,
after his
ugh.
technology
Beto.
went out, there should be no comp here. What are we
But
talking about?
how do you beat somebody that you can't technically beat though?
You're
What do you
not
mean?
strong.
Like-
like okay, if
Plot armor.
okay,
Plot armor.
if it was this, right? To me, Scott Lang was the wrong matchup. If this was like a Doctor Strange,
No, I think he was good because if you watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, it sets it up perfectly. Like that just fit in perfectly. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
but
it makes
don't
sense that
have-
Ant-Man.
Don't have Ant-Man be your first line of defense against Kang the Conqueror and then have him lose.
yeah,
He didn't lose though.
Yes, he
That's
did. He
what-
ran away. He ran away.
But somebody
He went to he went to that portal to escape.
hold on, wait a minute. But what if he did it on purpose to get, they did the whole MacGuffin thing. What if that was supposed to happen? Just like He Who Remains said, I already got this scripted.
That's
so I already
right.
know what's
That's
going
right.
on. So what if he did that?
But remember in
because
Loki,
for real,
they
Then he
once
wouldn't.
they killed
Then
And
he
He
even
Who
wouldn't
Remains,
Scott, even Scott,
Then he wouldn't have fought Scott. Then he wouldn't have fought Scott hand to hand. Then
Yeah, he wouldn't have fought him. Yeah,
but
He
yeah,
wouldn't
I
have,
mean,
if he knew the
he
script,
looked desperate.
right? Because at the end of Loki, when Loki and
Sylvie.
the girl show
Remains.
up, he
Sylvie.
already knows the script, and he is an absolute total
He's
control.
not even fighting. He
but
just
even listen to what he said to Scott. He's like, "Yo, you either like," because he always gives people like an ultimatum, but none of them are even good choices. Like when he did it with Loki and Sylvie, he did the same thing with Scott. He said like, "You're either going to help me, or there's going to be things that are going to be worse that are going to be coming."
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
if you stop me, things can get worse, which is why you had that soliloquy at the end, but then he kind of brushed it off. And then we get introduced to Immortus, Ramatut, and
right? Because he's the only one who can stop the Mother Kings. That's a real big reason why. But Scott Lang's the first line of defense.
Yeah.
That was 33.
Who else did they got though? Who else did they got though? Like all the Avengers are gone at this. Like they don't got a straight up Avengers team.
All right, if this was Doctor Strange versus Kang for the first outing,
Doctor Strange getting his ass whooped too.
First of all,
but now MCU that's because did that whole math stuff and No Way Home and Scott Lang. Doctor Strange is above Scott Lang.
They may not have the Avengers, but they sure as hell got the West Coast Avengers. You could easily have Hawkeye, Wonder Man, Hercules.
They can't do shit to that man.
I mean, wait, Jada. Well, I mean, West Coast Avengers not here yet.
No, but I'm saying you may not have the roster for the Avengers, but we do have the roster for the West Coast Avengers.
The only person I see that actually has hands like that go against Kang that I want to see in Kang Dynasty is Shang-Chi. Like I want to see that, like them just like trade.
Shang-Chi should destroy Kang hand to hand.
That's gonna be a great fight. That's gonna be a great fight. That's gonna be a great fight
until he gets his time device.
Yeah, okay. Now when I have my
Kang only beat up Scott because Scott can't fight.
Yeah, because remember,
I was gonna say Scott can't even fight for
but in the quantum realm, he did not have the same technology that He Who Remained had. He didn't have his time devices. He really just had the energy or whatever that they got in the quantum realm to be able to just fend off who he needs to fend off. That's
so
really it.
You gotta talk to
even the limited resources. Look what he built. He built
that out
army.
a little more.
That's a crafty brother right there.
Crafty, very crafty.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not crafty enough to get out of the quantum realm without Cassie Lang.
Yeah. Shang-Chi and Taskmaster are the best fighters in comics. They've trained just about everyone.
That is very true.
Taskmaster is more about training the minions. That's basically Taskmaster's.
And Shang-Chi trained Spider-Man in the comics.
In Spider Island.
Like Spider Fu or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was the way of the spider. The way of the spider.
The way of the spider. Yes,
the way of the spider.
Okay, I prefer the way of the spider. Spider Fu.
I thought it was Spider Fu.
No, it's the way of the spider.
Because you see, you talked to him in the spider multiverse comic where they was being chased by those people that was eating the Spider-Man.
Well, Stick was also pretty good because Stick trained a bunch of superheroes as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they retconned it, but
Perp Minded is doing a Quantumania live stream, and that's gonna happen when
10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's
guess he's not invited.
That's 6:30 hours. 6:30 Pacific.
I already just like I don't know who was all going to show up. I just sent out a bunch of invites, but it should be pretty interesting and pretty mad. So
I should be there. It's not like the NBA Slam Dunk Contest is going to be entertaining. I mean, you never know. It's a mixed bag. It's like 1 out of 5 you get a good one.
The 3-point contest should be over by 10, right? That's really
exactly right.
I completely forgot about the All-Star shit. Like I'd be like, they're still doing that. Like
I'm all caffeinated. It's in Utah. Don't worry. I'm all caffeinated and ready to go for that one. That's on Perp Minded's YouTube channel. He also has a Quantumania review, which if you like this, you'll like that also because it's in our wheelhouse. If you've never heard of Perp Minded, subscribe. We got Dre Mac from the Dre Mac Show, who's always streaming in the mornings, and I like tuning into it. It's a good time. So, talk about yourself, Dre?
Yep, 6:30 in the morning, Central Time. You can catch the show. Either talking about like the last show we talked about the spoiler review of Ant-Man and Quantum Realm, or Ant-Man and Quantumania. So next week, got to see what comes on. It's whatever the hot new whatever I make up that day, whatever's hot that day or whatever I make up, that's what we'll talk about. So.
The jaded fanboy is ready to do a Quantumania review himself. It's not going to be like mine because I was all cheerful.
Oh God, yeah.
You're going to be jaded.
I'm gonna make a video explaining all the stupid you missed in that movie. So don't worry about it.
Marcus,
I make videos explaining how the movies you like and the TV shows you like suck. So don't worry about it.
It's in the name, baby. It's in the name.
Well, actually, it's in the name because of the fake comic book fan base that exists now, but it's whatever.
All-Star Weekend is Christmas for thoughts. Back of the Bus podcast YouTube channel.
It's a late Valentine's Day. It's a late Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Back of the Bus. Check us out on YouTube every Wednesday for Dubs and Nels. Every Thursday now for Behind the Cape. That's Marvel MCU rumor mill stuff. Catch us next fall for football.
That's a cool name, Behind the Cape. Who had idea with that?
Jesus Christ.
SSJK.Sanctum is a YouTuber. Just check him out. What are you going to be doing? Are you gaming tonight?
No, but I will be dropping my South Park reaction, so expect that.
And you'll be with us on Perp Mind. Gray got that joke. Yeah, Gray. and you're going to be with us, K-Dot, on Perp Minded's Quantumania live stream later this evening.
That is 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Too.
You're busy. Like, you're just basically going to be streaming more. You'll be awake today on camera more than you will off camera.
All day.
No?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I won't be showing my face as much, but, I'll be there.
So technically you're not on camera. That's true. All right. Got me there. We went 3 hours. Hey, guys, I don't mind going 3 hours on days like today where I have nothing to do and it's free and stuff. I just don't want to ever get in the habit of it. I don't want to take your guys' time for granted. I have 33 questions. I'm trying to get them out. So that's my mindset. I mean, realistically, when I do memberships, which is probably going to be announced a week from now or 2 weeks from now, when I actually decide what I'm going to do in criteria, I think I would actually after the stream when we go over, I would, whoever's left, you guys have time? Let's just do a members only video and chop up a topic or something like that. So it's not like I'm just trying to say I don't want to go 3 hours to take advantage of you guys and your watching stuff. That's all I'm trying to say. When I don't want to go 3, and when I say I don't want swearing, it's because Mike from Rogue Comics likes to put us on his store, and I don't want any kids walking in.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, sorry, Mike, if you're watching today. He didn't even join us in the comments. He might not.
You're asking comic book fanboys if we have a problem talking about comic book based stuff. Yeah, we can talk for 4 or 5 hours and we won't even break a sweat.
That's kind of true. And we're over. Bye.
Doses.